right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I'm your host, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part, so make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to theindianjesus.com for your very own official merch. Only at theindianjesus.com. All right. Shout out to Zippy DSM Lee in the building. Please help me welcome our special guest, Meghan 32. Welcome to the party.
Hello.
Very good to have you. Absolutely. So if anybody is not familiar with who you are, who are you? What do you do? And where can they find you?
Well, my name is Megan. You can call me Meg. You can call me Meghan 32. I used to be on a podcast called Girls Gone Right, and I have branched off to do my own thing. And now I have my own channel. Everything is Meghan 32 across the board. I talk mostly about pop culture from the past with a nostalgic twist, talking about why things are not accepted in today's climate of political correctness and how silly that is and ridiculous. And I give you little bursts of boosts of nostalgia with some throwback items too.
Beautiful. I love it. And so I was checking out the channel, and specifically you had done a video on Idiocracy. I mean, everybody's had to have seen Idiocracy, and we've all heard the jokes about, oh, it's becoming a documentary, but actually, going down and looking at the actual top 5 ways, it was an interesting experience. What inspired you to pick that one?
Well, it is election season, so it was kind of easy to pick that one. And as everyone comments, like you just said, it's becoming more like a documentary. It's just real life. So it was pretty easy to start off with that particular film because it's easy.
Yeah. I think the when it first came out, because it came out what 20 or no, I think
2006.
Maybe 2006. I was gonna say 2016. That's what I meant. So yeah, right around that time, we were still in the pre-Obama era, and so the what politics was so very different that that movie could work because we didn't see it as we saw it as silly enough that it could be a fictional movie. Oh, Morty's coming to join. Come on up. There you go. There we go. My little co-host. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for Morty. That's what he's looking for here.
Aww.
But yeah, and Zippy's saying Ace Ventura, almost a documentary at this point. I think did you cover that one as well? Yeah, she's
recent episode was Ace Ventura.
Yeah, she's on top of it. All right, so why don't we check out the video that you did, and we can go from there. The beautiful Meghan.
Satire become reality. Welcome to On the Subject.
I gotta say, that intro's a little long. You might want to chop that down, but I was grooving. Oh, okay, good. I was grooving it. I was definitely grooving.
With election year upon us, it's time to start preparing for God knows what. The blame game, conspiracy theories, race baiting, fiery but mostly peaceful protesting. Who knows?
Yeah, just let me know if you want to pause to say something.
Rating friends and family used to be a casual and non-hostile event, but nowadays, depending on which side of the aisle you're on, your opinion has the potential to tear your family apart. Let's put all that aside for now, have some fun, and talk about one of the most ridiculous movies ever made.
And even right there, I think that notion that, it's tearing people apart. again, what I was just referencing in 2006, 2005, politics wasn't necessarily like that unless you wanted it to be like that. There are places you could go.
Way of life like it is now.
Yeah.
Everyone lives and breathes their identity politics, and it can tear friendships apart. I mean, I've had friendships be torn apart because of it, and it wasn't because of me. It was I, as a conservative, a Southern conservative too. We don't talk about that, like, and unless we agree to disagree, and it's a civil agreement. And it's, you don't bring it up at the dinner table, just like you don't bring up religion or sex at the dinner table. That's just something you don't do. But back then, you could have civil conversations. And now it's like, well, if you are not on the BLM train, then we can't be friends.
Yeah. And I think it's not just the ideas themselves, but the fervor with which people are willing to go. Like when it, back in the day, whenever, when people were talking about, the next bill for taxes or whatever, you might, agree, disagree, think that this, that, or the other. But like you said, you can come down to agree to disagree. Okay, you think that, and I think this, and at the end of the day, we have different perspectives, but obviously we're good people, and we just have different ideas about how to make the country better. I don't really know if that's how people see things anymore.
No, it's like you have to be on a side. And now it's kind of bleeding over onto the right now, but it was more so on the left where their points started contradicting each other, and then they were getting confused.
Yeah.
They still are.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of bleeding over into the right, which is really unfortunate to see, but we're kind of doing it to ourselves.
Yeah. And I mean, specifically with Israel and Gaza and Palestine and all that stuff, it's so sad to see, because it was fun to watch the left cannibalize itself. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you said this and now you're saying that. And it's disappointing to see people, like, because in my mind, because I started out as a never Trumper, and then I slowly moved into sanity, and I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Stupid.
We were just
So something about everyone eating themselves, cannibalizing themselves.
Oh, right. So,
speaking of eating people, I'm going to eat this.
enjoy. Yeah, the fact that it was fun to watch everybody on the other side who didn't have any principles, and that's why they were tearing each other apart. But now you see on this side, again, that side use loose language, and you're seeing the same kinds of things where it's like, well, wait, you said you're all about free speech, but then somebody said you didn't like about this thing, and now, like, what are we really doing?
Yeah, the thing with Twitter that I have found. X, whatever. I don't know what it's called. What do you call it?
I go by Twix. I think I keep the one.
I like that.
The one syllable. It's Twitter and it's Twix. I'm not talking about candy. And like in the banner here, I capitalized the X.
I really like that.
Twix.
So on Twix, I've noticed that it has given everyone, well, all of the social media, it's given everyone a voice that doesn't really need one. But again, it's free speech. You have the freedom to express your thoughts, your values, and your beliefs, but it's like no one wants to hear someone else's thoughts and beliefs,
right?
Because if you have one minor disagreement, you're wrong, I'm right. I will always be right, you will always be wrong.
And again, it goes back to the level of how closely people identify with these policy positions. And it's like, again, it didn't used to be that way. We got Monolithic Ethos in the chat. Welcome to the party. Well, we also got Culture Club USA in the building. Good to see you. And of course, Gwennifer is here. Welcome. We are just talking about how, unfortunately, Idiocracy is indeed becoming a documentary. And we got Garrett there as well. Shout out to Garrett. And yeah, so Meghan did this awesome video. Glad you're here. Let's check it out.
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
Make sure to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell that will be notified anytime a new.
Speaking of which, I did drop the link to Meg's channel in the chat, so please do as she says and go subscribe.
Video gets posted. Idiocracy stars Luke Wilson and Maya Rudolph. It was directed by Mike Judge, the creator of King of the Hill.
Like about a minute or so into this, because I just kind of give like the synopsis of the movie. Which, if you have not seen Idiocracy,
so yeah, let's go over that. We'll do just the basic synopsis of the movie is just that the stupid people take control, and everything that you could think being done the wrong way is done the wrong way.
Yes, it's everything that we see happening in front of us right now. Like, are they serious? Times a million. And now people are so stupid. You know, the #1 blockbuster movie in the theaters is called Ass.
Yep. So a little, not super complex, but as you see, they do a very good job of pointing out the things. And again, from 2006, that now today, almost 20 years later, on some Simpsons level shit, it's prophetic, if I may say so. Nick says, isn't it amazing how people can dehumanize each other over political views? I've always felt I can be friends with anyone as long as we can agree to disagree, but remain civil with each other. Exactly. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Amen.
Amen to that. All right. So I think we're at the spot.
Average in every way, Private Joe Bowers, Luke Wilson, is selected to take part in a secret military experiment to put him in hibernation for a year, along with a woman named Rita, Maya Rudolph.
Shout out to
The
Maya
slumbering duo is forgotten when the base they are stored on is
she was like
kind
of hot in that movie.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Not my favorite as far as looks goes, but this is probably her best movie.
Yeah.
Go Maya.
Until 2505. When they finally wake up, they discover the average intelligence of humans has decreased so much so that Joe is now the smartest man in the world.
So even think about all right, I think I'm a pretty smart dude.
Yeah.
But definitely not the smartest person.
So he was
go ahead.
He was the librarian of the military.
That's right.
He was just keeping guard of the library.
Yeah, it's not like he was. It's not like he was some scientist or a philosopher. Like he was just some average Joe, and now he is the smartest man in the world. And what's that old? I think it's George Carlin joke about think about how dumb the average person is. Then realize that half of everybody else is dumber than them. And that really shows. Shout out to Indie Film. Welcome to the party. I'm sure you've seen Idiocracy.
Yeah.
So that Joe is now the smartest man in the world. Here are the top 5 ways Idiocracy could actually happen today.
So we'll let the video introduce it, and then we'll get into some details.
Number 1. Kid's birthday party at Butt Effers. Formerly.
So if you're familiar with Fuddruckers, this is a play, and it's called Butt Fuckers.
Yeah.
And again, this is just the start of the world that we're living in. But you again can even think of we have OnlyFans, we have all this stuff going on with that, and already it's real.
Known as the restaurant Fuddruckers. This is something extremely inappropriate for kids right there, right in front of you. No one cares, aka the left. So now in the movie, they're too dumb to understand why it's inappropriate compared to the actual push for inappropriateness by adults on children in the real world. Inappropriateness being drag queen story hour, or the explicit sexual content being found in school library.
Oh yeah, we are very familiar with, well, not super familiar with genderqueer, but the fact that it exists. Welcome to the party, Dylan Soup.
Target's tuck-friendly swimsuits that were claimed to have been made for adults, but somehow they conveniently made their way into the children's pride section.
Conveniently.
That makes sense. Apps that have easily accessible hidden pornographic material because it's not monitored like it should be. So you have apps like Snapchat.
Twitter is terrible.
Explicit images or videos and it vanishing.
Yeah, I mean Snapchat alone is scary. I think I was in, I don't even know when it came out, but I think I was in college. I was definitely out of high school by then. And even at that age of like post 20, like early 20s, the main thing that you used the Snapchat for was to flex on everybody at the party that you were at. You're like, oh, look how many people are here. Oh, I'm so cool. Or like, you know, you're at a concert and you have some shaky thing. But like high schoolers using this kind of thing for exactly what we know they're using it for. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Well, and then that whole like vanish thing transferred over to Instagram with vanish mode.
I've seen that. Instagram's the one I use probably the least aside from Snapchat.
Yeah.
What exactly is it? It's just the same thing where you can post messages and it disappears?
Yes. So in vanish mode, when you're in a DM, I think you like swipe up aggressively in the chat, it turns black and it says vanish mode now on.
Convenient. So when you're already right there.
Yeah. And so as long as the chat is open like Snapchat, you'll still see those messages. But as soon as you back out of it, they're gone.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And
to me, Snapchat was invented for nefariousness.
The dark arts, as Theo Von would say. And and I mean, you know, I'm not going to say that, you know, I didn't benefit from having Snapchat here and there, but the wide usage of now just introducing this idea of that the internet is not, in fact, forever. When then, of course, we had the what do they call it? The snapping, when all those pictures got
oh my
released.
God.
And so
yes.
The internet indeed is forever.
It is. With all the cloud hack.
Yeah.
The nudes. Well, I mean, Haley Williams did accidentally post a nude on her Twitter. That was her fault.
Accidentally.
But yeah, this whole like push for inappropriateness onto children is insane. In fact, we saw that monologue from Bill Maher the other night talking about group.
Oh yeah, right on the set one, right?
Yeah. I'm like, say it louder and say it again and then again and then again.
Yeah. And I mean, specifically with Instagram, though, I don't know if some of you guys might remember back in the day when, I forget his name, Brent something. But there's a guy who I found on TikTok who his main thing was to just go on Instagram, find pages of like, it was like a family page or like a proud mom or something. And the page would be, you know, innocuous. And so it's just like a mom has her daughter, daughter's going to gymnastics or daughter's going to swimming or daughter's going whatever. And these pictures are ending up on the on Instagram. And then somebody takes a screenshot of that. And then they have a different account where they upload all of these different pictures from different profiles. And the comments are just all old men like, oh, yeah, so beautiful. And we're talking about like 9, 10-year-old. Not that 14 would be any better, but like it's insane.
It's disgusting.
And the fact that they would be like, oh, let's make this easier. Let's make this easier.
Wait,
I don't get it.
I have the I think I have the hold on, I gotta find it. There it is.
Yep. Goddamn Snapchat.
Being able to send explicit images or videos and it vanishing, kind of like vanish mode in Instagram. TikTok just by scrolling, and hashtags on Instagram and Twitter. Even video games like Grand Theft Auto that have prostitution as part of the game. In the older version, you could just see a car rocking from a distance, but in the new version, you can watch the sexual encounters, or even role play with them. Number 2.
I did not know that. Come on, yo. How many you been getting? Oh, in GTA, bro? In GTA, bro? That's there's some. Are you a gamer?
Ish.
So I've never really gotten into that world. I think, the main thing when I was a kid, I had like, Nintendo 64 and all that stuff. And then when PS2 came out, then my mom was like, I'm not spending $300 on a thing and $60 for every game and da. So after that, I was always one generation behind. So when PS3 came out, I eventually was able to get my hands on a PS2 and so on and so forth. And then, I was so far behind that it wasn't fun to play online games because everybody was so much better than me. And so I just did other stuff. But there's something with the and I'm far from a prude, but the over sexualization of everything in video games is so weird to me.
It is weird. It's kind of, I don't know if you're like an anime person, but I have always found that particular subject very strange. Like, I don't understand why something animated gets you sexually aroused. That's weird.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, me and Zippy were just talking, not about that kind of stuff, but just in terms of animated, animated shows. Because I was watching Invincible, that's on Amazon Prime, animated superhero thing. And, I saw that it was out there and I didn't really, want to get into it. But, then season 2 came out and people were talking about it, like, oh, all right, let me check this out. And, it started a little slow, but eventually by the end of the season, I was like, this is epic. This is like raw. This is serious. Like, all of you should watch Invincible. And then, there's a lot of shows that, I'm pretty snooty when it comes to my TV. So I need somebody to recommend me a show and I need to trust that person before I'm going to waste the time, my precious
investment.
Time. Exactly. And, so Zippy's like, well, you don't like animated. I was like, no. I don't like kiddie shit.
Yeah.
I don't like kiddie shit. And so whenever I ask, like, okay, all right, let me try to see what's good with this anime thing. Everybody's like, try Avatar. I'm like, I remember that being on when I was coming home from school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I've never understood it. I mean, I watched Sailor Moon as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid.
The anime, I guess.
Oh,
but
is it? Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
Dragon Ball Z in that anime? I don't know.
I think so. And see, yeah, there we go. Whatever is the best, though. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe if the story was distilled to me in the right way, I'd be able to say, oh, that's amazing. The events that happen, that's a really cool story. But just the manner in which it's told is very important.
Yeah.
Zippy says, anime is fun. Sexy in games is fun. However, age appropriate would be nice. A lot of sexy is at the bare minimum PG-13 and teen, but a lot of it is 17 plus. Yeah, I mean, and how much does that really factor in, though? Do parents really look at that kind of stuff? I mean, maybe if it's 17 plus, then you're not going to buy the game for your kids. But if it's rated T for teen, are you not going to buy your 11-year-old the same game that everybody else has?
Yeah, I guess it's just. Are you really going to sit there and watch your kid play the entire game?
Right. And not. Exactly. And so, I mean, on number 1, we definitely have had Idiocracy come true.
Watch the sexual encounters or even role play with them. Number 2, Brondo. They don't drink water in the movie.
Shout out to Glenniver's. I've got a Brondo t-shirt. It's got electrolytes. I haven't put one on the thumbnail. I was like, how do I get a visual interpretation of the movie, but also show that we've got a guest and Brondo.
Not what plants crave.
It's what plants crave.
Water comes from the toilet. And they even replaced the crop irrigation system with the Gatorade-like sports drink because it's got what plants crave. Electrolytes. Brondo even bought the FDA in the movie, and it's pumping its civilians full of artificial ingredients.
I'm just loving noticing the gift that you have going on.
FDA in the movie, and it's pumping its civilians full of artificial ingredients. versus naturally sourced organic ingredients from the earth and its elements. This sounds a little familiar. Now,
So I don't know about that one, because we do see that going kind of to both extremes. We definitely see people engorging themselves, whether it's just, like for what do they call it? The videos where they're just like the mukbang, whether it's for mukbang or whether it's just because you got issues. People are definitely going in that direction. But I think there's also a much more pun intended organic interest in healthy eating. Would you agree?
No, I can hear you. You were clipping out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I was saying that as much as people are definitely going in the direction of getting fat and unhealthy and lazy and stuff, I do think there's an uptick in people who are interested in fitness and eating well and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. So the comparison I made was or
oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Oh, she's frozen. She's frozen. Let's get some of these comments, see if she comes back. CB said, I know parents around here do what? Like calls you fine. Yeah, I got you. Okay, there we go. You're back. All right.
sorry, I don't know what happened.
Internet.
Internet. What a thing. Yeah, so this is in comparison to Bill Gates and how he's like the head push for all this stuff with like fake beef and eating bugs.
Oh yeah,
like pumping our systems full of artificial stuff. But it's kind of hypocritical, because aren't we supposed to be like sourcing natural ingredients and making ourselves like super healthy? And
that's actually something I was specifically looking into when around college age, when I was coming from out of my religious phase and figuring out what I was going to be and do and think. The idea of eating meat came up, and I was questioning whether I thought that was something that I needed to change or if there was something wrong with that, and ultimately decided like, no, there's nothing wrong with eating meat. But clearly factory farming is not ideal. So I was like, okay, either I got to become a hunter or I got to buy all organic, this, that, the other. But then you realize how much more expensive that is. Like, okay, well, I can't do that. So when I heard about lab grown meat and the fact that they were using actual animal cells and then just replicating the cells, where you're going to theoretically, what they're saying is that you get a better cut of meat and you get all the nutrients, but there is they don't need to use any of the like antibiotics and all that stuff. You're not even willing to see what's good with it.
I'm
like, hell no.
I'm like a Southern girl that loves her like chicken and pork and beef, all coming from the farmers. As long as it's like responsibly raised on a farm and a ranch, like that's something that is important to me. And like grass-fed beef, and as long as there's not a whole lot of hormones and preservatives pumped into it, like that's even better. Like I have a local butcher just down the street.
Nice.
And I love to buy meat.
Humble brag there. All right.
Well, I'm surrounded in Middle Tennessee. I'm surrounded by farms and surrounded by cows. There's black cows all over the place. Eat them. I know that's where the Angus beef comes from.
Hell yeah. And that's right. So I mean, if I had something like that a little bit closer, maybe it would be an option. But again, it's just the price difference in like if you're getting just the cheap pumped with everything chicken, you're saving money over the course of a year. That's thousands of dollars maybe.
Yeah. Except they're using cancer cells
and that's what we gotta look out for. So obviously, they're selling it as like, oh, it's perfect meat, and I definitely would be skeptical as always. Believe in nothing except that anything is possible, and see what's good with that. But before, like when it came out, before I actually ingested it, Yeah, but yeah, they want us eating the bugs and living in the pods.
Yeah, and the whole claim from Bill Gates was like he wants to lower methane emissions by 20%. And you know what he means by methane emissions, right?
Cow farts.
Cow farts. I'm like, really? Really?
Because my brother's a vegetarian. He's not like, super, like the typical, like, oh, you gotta do. It's just kind of, he does his own thing. But he did, he was like, yo, you gotta check out Cowspiracy. I could not make it 10 minutes. Okay, maybe 20. But like, I was like, yo, what? But I'm not gonna die on this hill.
Like, what about they eat grass? That's all they eat.
Yeah. Well, unless they give them all that grain and shit in the factory farms, which brings us back to all that stuff. But I would love to be able to become a hunter. This was definitely during peak Rogan years, and he, him with his bow hunting and all that stuff. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, well, I was very against hunting. Just not being aware of what went into it. Just like the typical, as Zippy will never let me forget. Where is it? Did I lose already? He's already making fun of me. Like, you voted for Hillary. Yes. 2016, the most horrible thing I ever did was I did place a vote for Hillary. I was a Bernie bro.
Oh no.
I didn't know any better. I'm sorry. All right. And they will never let me live it down. But I mean, I did come and learn the error of my ways and her ways. And hunting and guns were just one of the things that, like a typical default liberal, I just thought they were all bad. And I started listening to people like Steve Rinella and what's the other guy, Cam Haines, when they were on Rogan, and I just started to realize that there's so much more to it than, I want to go kill a deer and for bloodlust or something. And it's like, obviously that's not what it was. And then the same thing with just guns in general. It's like, obviously self-defense, like, that makes sense.
It's like when you open the box that they told you to keep closed for so long, and you start finding your own answers in it that are actually facts and truth. They're like, no, close the box back up. No, you're not supposed to see that. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, no, that's not us. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so I guess we all had we all like DJ like Dylan is saying, you got to wake up somewhere. And as long as you do, we all make mistakes, but as long as you figure it out, that is the way to go.
This is the way.
Organic ingredients from the earth and its elements. It sounds a little familiar. Now, he didn't buy the FDA, but in 2021, Bill Gates wrote a book titled How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, laying out everything he believes that will help eliminate the greenhouse gas emissions driving climate change. I haven't read this book, nor do I plan to, but he goes into detail about how he thinks we should be eating fake beef. Lab-made beef with companies like Beyond Meats and Impossible Foods.
Yeah, I heard of Beyond Meat. No. It was Minnesota Meats. And I was, again, it was just a thing of like, all right, I'll pay attention and see what's going on here. That's a good one, Steve S. And again, I'm open to it as far as a scientific thing, but I'm going to be as skeptical as anyone else. Shout out to ZOGG. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya.
Beef. With companies like Beyond Meats and Impossible Foods, who Gates is an investor in both, that manufacture plant-based meat. He claims that by reducing the consumption of real beef, will reduce the methane emissions by 20%. Methane emissions being cow burps and farts. Yeah. So what's the solution? Synthetic beef. Yummy. Yummy. And
but what if it was? And you're, as you're saying, healthy,
by the way,
and nutritious. If it really was yummy and nutritious, and you had somebody that you trusted that did their own unboxing and whatever, like, okay, we're gonna try the fake meat, the synthetic meat, and they're like, yo, this shit's good. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to wait 6 months. He's been eating this shit every day. And nothing happens. What do you do?
I mean, I guess I would try it.
There you go.
I wouldn't like it though. Like
Maybe.
if this was all we had. Like if they got their way and this was all we had, of course I have to eat it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if we're forced to, but like, and yeah, I mean, there's definitely the other side of it. Like Zippy's saying here, like the EVs create a ton of pollution to solve a little bit of pollution. And we don't know what exactly would go into scaling up not factory farmed, but factory produced, I guess would be the word, meat. And we don't know if that would come up with its own issues.
The problem I have is that those are jobs. Those are farmers, those are butchers, those are small businesses, the butcher shop that provide all these goods to consume by its consumers. So if jobs are an important thing in this country, why are you trying to eliminate one of the biggest things, agriculture?
I hear you. I definitely do. Shout out to M169. Welcome. I do hear you, but I do have to. Well, let me just play. I don't know if I actually disagree. I'll just play devil's advocate because we definitely, as society moves forward, would it have been better for America to make sure that combustion cars never came about because of all the buggy drivers and like I don't know, what's another job that people don't do anymore? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? I definitely see, like, me personally, when I go to like Walmart or whatever. I haven't been to Target since those tuck friendly bathing suits, even though I love or loved Target. Good one, Ned. Welcome to the party. And so I personally always go to the cashier if they have one, but because I as far as on a personal level, I don't necessarily want to, do what you're saying and contribute when I have the personal choice. But again, zooming out, if that's the way that it's going, then is it kind of just fighting? Well, number one, fighting a losing battle. And two, is it worth it? Because sometimes there's a losing battle, but it's worth it to fight. And I just think that technology moves forward, and new jobs come to replace the old ones. So it says gas cars rock, especially V8s. There you go. There you go. See, I'm not necessarily saying get rid of combustion cars. I think that electric vehicles will be what people use in the future. But I think like Teslas and Cybertruck, that ain't it. We ain't there yet.
Was it you and me that had the conversation about Cybertrucks?
No, but I would love to. Talk to me about Cybertrucks.
To me.
Right, here we go.
Someone in my neighborhood just got one.
Oh, God. I just saw the first one in real life the other day.
It sticks out like a sore thumb. And let me tell you, it's like cool looking at first, but I go on walks every morning with my dog. And every time I pass it, I'm like, that thing looks like it's from a low budget Blade Runner post-apocalyptic cyberpunk movie from 1982.
I exactly. That's exactly what I thought. Because obviously I knew what the Cybertruck was, but I'm driving home. I'm looking at my GPS. I'm listening to a podcast, whatever, and I see it. I'm making a right turn. It was at the light going across, and I had it was just in a split second before I actually recognized what was happening. I was like, "Are they shooting a movie around here?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's just a Cybertruck." I was like, "Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Definitely makes a lot of sense."
And they're huge,
gigantic.
They're giant. I mean, it's not as big as like a dually F250 or anything like that, but
But those are, at least they have crumple zones and everything. Have you ever seen the crash tests for the Cybertrucks?
Yeah. And it can tow a pretty significant amount, but it's like who's buying a Cybertruck to tow shit in? You know?
Stop the cap.
Yeah.
Going back to the meat thing here, any film is saying there's currently a big push against private farms. So making meat in some laboratory in Wuhan is a lot easier to control than some farm in the middle of Texas. And so that, if we're talking about taking jobs from that are already there from Americans and giving them to other countries, now that's a conversation I'm definitely on. No, America first. But in terms of like, oh, this person needs a job, so we're going to hold society back. I don't know. But it seems like everybody's with you. We need, amongst these 9, we need to resist their grab for control as long as possible.
Yeah, I mean, if we can hold them off for hold door, hold
the door. Spoilers.
If we can hold them off for as long as possible, I think there. And the thing with the left, it's like they try to make you think that there are more of them than there are of us, or that this
like we're all together, right?
Yeah, this idea that they're pushing is like this massive idea that's about to go through, and like, no, you just brought this to the table, and you sound like an idiot.
Hold the line.
Everyone's like, I'll pass. I'll continue to eat my real beef while you can eat your bugs. Or
you eat your bugs in your Cybertruck. It self-drives you into a pedestrian grandma, and we'll be here in the analog world as we talk digitally. But okay, fair enough. So, you know, a little bit of disagreement there, but I think that's a fair position.
Yummy. That sounds
Yummy.
And nutritious, by the way. Pumping our bodies full of chemicals. Make that make sense. Sure, it comes from plants, but it's still lab created when we can just consume God's natural source of sustenance, you know, the cow, the chicken, the pig, or even homegrown vegetables.
I was going to say berries
without pesticides. Buying meat from local butcher shops that get the meat from local farmers. I mean, this is a giant rabbit hole that we can go down for.
Just eat your local leftist. Sorry, that was in a video game. It was a joke. Won't eat people. Cannibalism is bad.
Long time, but I think my fellow meat eaters get me. Number 3, unscannable. Each civilian in the movie has a UPC barcode tattooed on their wrist so that the government can keep track of their civilians. Now, this is out of pure laziness in the movie, but another comparison that involves Bill Gates. He also joked about implanting microchips with the vaccine. If you've
oh dear. So there's levels to this this discussion of whether it is identification, whether they're talking about putting something permanently on or in your body. Remind me what exactly they used it for in the movie.
So instead of having like driver's licenses or anything like that, in order to be identified, that they literally had a UPC code on like an item at the grocery store.
Right.
They would scan it and pull up their information.
Yeah, and so people have talked about how, you know, in real life, and I mean, to be fair, Elon wants the X app to be the everything app. And I remember Amazon tried this. They had a store. I want to say it was in New York.
I talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we'll leave that
hand over the thing.
Yeah.
So that's actually in Whole Foods.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right now it's in Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. I think number one, when it comes to like the ID should, I can't put my finger on it. I don't have a good reason why, but the notion of it, because I mean, I don't personally have a problem with, you know, being tattooed or anything. Not that I think it would be fair to force people to do it, but I personally don't have an issue with that part. But in terms of ID, and you always, same thing with like iris detection, face detection, just that they're always watching and they're always, and then the other part of it is when they tie things like your bank and your whatever, whether or not you can start your car on your account, and you have to scan this for that and that, and say, oh, you've used up your racism credits by being on time today, so you can't drive.
Yeah, the thing at Amazon, it's called Amazon One. So basically they take a scan of your palm print, and everyone's palm print is unique. It's unique to you. And you hold your hand over the payment thing at Amazon, or not Amazon, Whole Foods. So I think, let's see, I have my notes pulled up. It's in over 500 Whole Foods locations.
Damn.
So if you shop at Whole Foods or you have one, it's probably at yours. It's at mine. And first time I saw it, I literally took a picture of it and was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. And so like stuff like that. So that's the balance between, what I was saying in terms of, society's moving forward. Yes, society's moving forward, but that doesn't mean you need to rush to be at the front line of everything when we know that, like M69 saying, it's about control. It's maybe even back in the 90s, probably not, but let's just say for argument's sake, back in the 90s, maybe you could you could trust just in the market generally that they were selling you a thing because they wanted to have the best thing and make money, and that was it, just pure capitalistic trading. But now, because of how we've seen that, if it's free, then you're the product. It's changed everything. And so, yes, I do think that as much as I go to a human cashier, that job will be eliminated very soon.
Yeah.
I'm accepting of the fact that the technology is there, but not necessarily doing my part to push it along.
Well, isn't it funny? Isn't that ironic? That those they raised the minimum wage in California, and then they had a lot of businesses had to fire employees because they could no longer afford that minimum wage. And then I think
surprise.
There was some McDonald's locations that completely fired everyone and is now completely robotic. Like they don't have any employees there.
Yeah, I've seen that where they have they might have like one person in the office just making sure, but the entire thing. Yeah, they have an AI voice. Hi, what can I get you today? They're fake ums and stutters. And creepy. Yeah, and good point. M169 said your phone already listens to you. You don't have to help the destruction alone. The number of times that my phone will pick up the fact that, because I say okay pretty regularly, I got a Google phone, so if those happen to come together, then now they're listening. And what was it? We were just talking about this show that we're doing last night, and someone we were talking about immediately came up on my For You page on TikTok. It's like they're listening. It
is kind of scary when you're like talking about something with somebody and then you open Instagram and there's an ad for it.
Yeah, at least now we understand that, like, okay, they really are doing that. It's not like they've bugged. Yeah. Like before, are they bugging the house or something? Like, all right, at least now it's like, no, for sure they're listening. The only way that it can turn on is say, okay, Google. Of course, I'm not going to do it. Of course, I'm not going to do it. The only way that works is if it's listening all the time. Yeah.
Also joked about implanting microchips with the vaccine. If you've shopped at Whole Foods recently, you may have seen this new payment device that's right there next to the regular payment device where you put your credit card in. This is called Amazon One. There's no microchips involved, but it's a payment system offered by Amazon that's based off biometrics and works by reading your palm print.
So as your hand are uniquely yours, the Amazon One device is designed to read them. To create your unique palm signature, and like the next question is how do we slow this down? Because there's no stopping it for sure.
Stop signing up for it.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen anyone at Whole Foods using that thing. Now, it could be our location. It could be where I live, and that's why.
Fair.
But I've never seen anyone use it. However, my friend saw somebody use it, and it didn't work. And the lady just walked out of the store with all of her stuff. And they're like, ma'am, excuse me, you have to pay. She's like, no, I did it.
I waved my hand. That's your job, not mine.
It didn't go through. She's like, well, that's not my problem. And continued to walk out.
It's not. It's not. When we've had discussions in the Discord about whether or not to use the auto checkout and stuff, it's not even a principled thing. It's like, I don't even understand. Why are you doing work? Like, you've been a cashier before, right? Everybody's been a cashier. Yes, you've been a cashier. You hated that job. And the money that they gave you wasn't even nearly enough. You just had to do that. Now you're choosing to do it, and it's taking somebody's job.
Yeah.
But you still want to do it. I don't get it. That'll make no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, if you're freaked out by it, then stop signing up for it.
But the problem is that they're going to keep encroaching further and further and further into our lives. And, like, that was my position originally on the COVID vaccine. I was like, all right, well, I don't really care. I've never gotten a flu shot. I don't know, but, I'll be fine. I share blunts with a lot of people. I'll be good. But, I know that they're going to do all this mandate stuff. And eventually, when it becomes inconvenient, I'll just get it so that I can go on with my life. Then they started lying, and it got super. And then I was just like, hold on here, I don't trust any of this. And so yeah, I definitely chose to opt out. But the world was already shut down, and so it even maybe me, you, the people in this chat, whatever, maybe we will be able to hold out. But I at what point are people going to be like, yeah, this is bad, but I like it? I mean, I have that attitude with TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Instacart. I do.
I'm more of a DoorDash, but yeah.
I do love Instacart when I don't feel like going to the grocery store. But I think of this as like either like a really covert narcissist or like a toddler that tries to push their limits and like tiptoe, like, I'm gonna try this and see if I can get away with it. And then I'll get away with it. And I'm gonna see if I can do a little more. I got away with it. I'm gonna do a little more.
15 days to slow the spread, right, guys? And then that turns into 3 years. So yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, there really is no other way than to just to understand not the value, but the impact of convenience.
Yeah.
And again, I use TikTok because I like it. It entertains me, and I don't have like my YouTube Shorts algorithm doesn't really get me there and whatever. So I use it, but I've decided that is a risk I'm willing to take, because when I think about it, what information do they not already have, so on and so forth. If something else were to come out that, like, oh, if you have it on your phone, then they can get right into your bank. Okay, maybe that's a different story. But I think it's just a matter of deciding, what are you willing to let everybody else suffer for your own convenience? Yeah, and let's see, it says, refuse to do business with any company that won't accept cash. We have more power than we realize. Take it back. I want to dilly to that.
Oh, dilly.
dilly to that. All right, let's dive back in here.
Offered by Amazon that's based off biometrics and works by reading your palm print. You just hold your hand above this scanner like a Mission Impossible movie or something. I mean, you're just trying to buy your groceries, right? You're not saving the world. And it takes your payment based off your unique palm print that's linked to your Amazon One profile and account. Amazon,
and then they use that to fake that you committed a crime or something. They're gonna forge your handprint. It's gonna be at a murder scene. This is all an elaborate ruse, because the guy just beneath Bezos at Amazon was like, all right, I gotta murder this bitch. Let's get this whole system going so that we can collect enough handprints that I can get away with this.
I mean,
makes sense.
What they're doing to Trump right now.
And just within line with the entire conversation that we're having about Idiocracy, you try to tell a story of like, hey, this crazy thing, and it's like, wait, they're doing that. They're doing that. Yep. They want to get the tip in, as Lewis Rossman says. Shout out to Lewis Rossman. Nick says, I don't know if we can, but maybe try to make all big purchases with things like gold, silver, etc. That's just not practical or even possible, but I don't know what else could work. Open to ideas. I said, shit, me too.
Do you remember when they brought back the dollar coin? And it was such a huge deal, and you would collect them all.
I mean, I don't know how many people were collecting, but that's certainly what they wanted you to do.
Like they try. I mean, the infomercials made it sound like
get your own gold and silver dollar with what was that?
The Indian. Yeah.
Does anybody know what we're talking about? Does anybody know what we're talking about?
Sacagawea.
All right, we gotta find. I don't know. Sacagawea. Okay, we're gonna. Indian lady
$1
coin.
Sacagawea.
There we go. There we go. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember? Oh wait, they can't even see it. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this?
Oh my God.
You can get your very own Liberty in God We Trust gold coin for $7.99 plus shipping and handling. Well, Buffalo silver. There you go. There you go. Good times. Good times. So he says big businesses will collapse the world market. Then back to depression times till they fix it. Yay! Are you someone who is into investing in like either metals or stocks or crypto or anything like that?
Well, we stocks, yes, and also during COVID, computer parts.
Interesting.
Because everyone was working from home and building computers and webcams and all that. So we got really big into building computers, and there's just like a plethora. Our attic space looks like we hoard.
Nice. I have a friend who does what sounds like a similar type of thing where they have a legit shipping container in their backyard, and they just they'll go to thrift stores and yard sales, estate sales, and all that kind of stuff, and just grab whatever they can and resell it. Whether he's on this one site where it's like actually like you're streaming, you're like, I got this thing right here, and then more I guess like Etsy style things. But I heard you could make good money that way.
Well, there was a few parts that they were jacking up the prices for because they knew that they were high in demand, and they only made so many. And so these people were buying all these computer parts and then reselling them for crazy amounts of money. And so we got our hands on like a few parts like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Any film has a great point here. So paper money should have precious metals woven into it so that its value is more than just a piece of paper. Bingo. That is brilliant. Did you get that from somewhere? Did you like? That's such a smart idea because there's definitely a way to do it. Yeah, it would be definitely harder, but shout out to Ian. There's got to be something with graphene in there where it's like I don't know. I'm not saying it's like they should be doing this today, but if there's a way to do this, that would be brilliant because it would again, even if the value of the US dollar goes down because there's X amount of gold in each paper dollar, it still has its own value. And it's not, it's the same thing as buying gold. It's just that it's already in there. I never really I was kind of scared of the stock market and just like not really knowing what was going on and not really willing to learn. And it wasn't until somebody explained it and again, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I knew that, but you got to hear it a certain way. And when someone was like, dude, if you just have your money sitting in a savings account, you're just letting it evaporate. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't think about it that way. I gotta get rid of this fiat. And so then I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to go again into stocks or precious metals. And I just felt like if I wanted to hedge against the dollar, then maybe the stock market is too close to that. So I have a little bit of crypto, not like the shit coins and stuff. Only just like some Bitcoin and stuff like that. But every way, not financial advice, but you should definitely have something that is not dollars. Yeah, gold leaf bills. That's a smart idea. Smart. Shout out to Liberty Plus TV. Welcome to the party. So there's a company that makes gold paper money. There you go. There you go. Smart ideas coming together. All right.
Who knew?
Palm print that's linked to your Amazon One profile and account. Amazon planned to have their biometric payment method in over 500 Whole Foods locations by the end of last year, 2023. Number 4,
all right.
Joe's easy escape from prison. Now, he escaped prison in the movie just by tricking the guards while in line to enter prison by saying he was in the wrong line and that he should be in the line to get out of prison.
Okay, I know where my head's at.
Tell
But before we hear from you, before we hear from the video, what is the connection that you saw with that?
I want to hear yours first.
Okay, I'll go first because I see this when I look at this or you know, in the corner here, I'm thinking the border, that everybody is pouring over the border, and instead of, you know, it's not, you know, a 1-to-1, but this guy's supposed to go that way, but he just said the right words, and now he gets to go the other way. So this, you know, people who are supposed to, you know, be going away from America, or at least standing wherever the hell they are, say the right words. Oh, I'm seeking asylum, and it's like, come on in.
Yeah, that's actually a really good tie-in to that. Mine. So I tried to make the point of bail reform. And how easy it is now for criminals to just get out of jail.
Yeah.
Get a slap on the wrist.
A twofer on that one.
Yeah. But the border, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And yeah, but I think the it's crazy to me when people can't, like, the people who wanted to implement this, like, no cash bail and all that stuff. Like, okay, fine, I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's ideal that, you know, as long as you have enough money, then you can commit crimes and not have to go to jail and to like, yeah, I'm totally with that. But also, if you've robbed somebody 5 times in a day, maybe we should lock your ass up.
Yeah, and it's the ones that keep doing it. And some of the crimes that these criminals have committed are more than just misdemeanors. I mean, they're actual, like, felony crimes, and they're not putting them in jail. They're just giving them a slap on the wrist. And I talk about an article, I think it was in the New York Post in 2022. It said 10 criminals racked up a combined total of nearly 500 arrests in New York City. 10 criminals, 500 arrests.
Yeah. And
that's ridiculous.
Too much. And the idea that, oh, you know, again, we don't want to hold these people, fine. But when you see it playing out, like, oh, we didn't expect that, then you need to be willing to say, okay, we got this wrong. Let's go back. And I don't think that the left would catch so much ire from the right if they were willing to do that. I think the you know, and of course there's crazy people, there's fanatics, there's tribalists on both sides, but I think by and large, people are willing to be like, to, you know, the whole walk away movement. It's like, yeah, you were really, really wrong, but yeah, come on over. And I think that's such an important thing that the left doesn't, you know, it might be there, but certainly not as much. Zippy said, government is using the black market and crime and criminals to feed fear, make bad law, and turn everyone into slaves. They've been doing it for a long time.
They have. And we know the main rhetoric behind all of this. And that is 2 things: race. And the other thing is a Democratic vote.
Yeah, well, and they're just poor people that just can't feed their families, and that's why they're stealing sneakers.
Yeah, like, just get a job, get a job.
That's too hard. That's too hard.
And he was in the wrong line, and that he should be in the line to get out of prison.
Smart.
And because everyone in 2505 is stupid, they just let him go to the other line, and he got out. This reminds me of New York's bail reform. That's a stretch, I know.
Not
but
really.
Hear me out.
I don't know.
According to BrennanCenter.org, in 2019, New York lawmakers passed legislation ending the use of cash bail for most cases involving misdemeanors and non-violent felonies. The law aimed to reduce the risk that someone would be jailed because they could not afford to pay for release and reduce the unnecessary use of incarceration. These are their words. Which can have a profoundly disruptive effect on people's lives.
Yeah.
Almost like, committing crimes might have a profoundly disruptive effect on people's lives.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I say next. It's like, oh, I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
You went and committed a crime and it was so disruptive to your life that you had to go to jail for a little bit. How about the victim? How about the victim that was affected by your crime?
Yeah, we don't care about that anymore.
about
We don't care about that with Daniel Penny. We don't care about that with Jose Alba, the guy in New York who the big dude came behind the counter and went to beat him up, and then he stabbed him with the box cutter.
Yeah,
it's like it is. And I remember being younger and like not super young, maybe like teenager 20s, and I remember. My dad, who's been a lifelong Republican, talking about how they give more rights to the criminals than and whatever. And I remember just being like, what? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, he's right. And yeah.
Also, it could have been different. Are you from Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. In the South. It could have been way different. He could be right in your region growing up. And of course, when we were like teenagers and stuff, we weren't necessarily paying attention closely to that stuff yet.
Right. And he also worked in Brooklyn and in Manhattan. So he was seeing it. Yeah. But exactly, bringing up M169, bringing up Darryl Brooks, and it's like he had a bond. There was money that he had to pay. So even still, you have this and killing 6 people, injuring 60 over 60 others. When we have the stopgap of like, okay, you did this crime, so now you have to do something to make sure that you're not out there hurting other people. Now, again, that's why I say initially I get the argument as to why, like as I just said, he had the bond and it didn't stop him from doing anything.
Yeah.
And so why then for other people who wouldn't take that opportunity to hurt more people, why do they have to sit in jail? Again, I get it, but unfortunately, it just doesn't play out that way. Zubi said Ilhan Omar's daughter says she's homeless. Okay.
Yeah.
Homeless because the apartment that's paid for is she's just taking a vacation. But she's homeless, cries poverty after suspension from her $90K per year college over anti-Israel posts. Well, what did you think was going to happen?
I can't. I these people.
Yeah, I had no idea how far this shit went. When I remember again in right after 10/7 happened, and I was getting into this, and we saw in her district there was a stadium of people. It was either that night or the next day, just gathering and waving Palestinian flags, and I legitimately did not get it. I was like, wait, like why are they like what? And I just had no idea. And it's crazy that people are still so fervent about this issue. It's just like, okay, when I didn't know, I was like, oh wait, these people are the good guys, or those people are the good guys, or oh, there's no good guys. It's just a bunch of people who want to fight because they want to fight. That's it. If somebody wanted to end it, somebody can end it, but nobody want to end it. They want to start something bigger that gets them more attention and money. Sad.
Elon has a college-age daughter. Yeah, from her brother.
From her brother. Yep. Called it.
What's making me sick right now is it's gone beyond the pale. I mean, it's full on. They want to call conservative Nazis.
Oh yeah.
Are you seeing all this anti-Semitism going on in these college campuses right now?
Yeah.
Making human blockades to prohibit or prevent Jewish students from entering school?
Yeah.
Like
Wild.
that's what the Germans did.
Yeah. And I really thought, again, before 10/7, I really thought that there were pockets of like of like, Nick Fuentes type people who had some issue with the Jews. But I didn't think that was a thing anymore. Like I thought there, maybe again, back in the 90s, early 2000s, like there was something with that again that I wasn't paying attention to. But I've never spoken to anybody in real life about an important thing, and the conversation came to the Jews, and it was anyway a fruitful conversation. But yet everybody's out here like, oh, I have this opinion on the Jews. Somebody came in and asked me, "What's your opinion? Where are you at with the JQ?" I was like, what does that even mean?
JQ.
The Jewish question. Do you think they should be allowed to exist? It's like,
Yes.
What? Obviously. Do I think that, they need to be bombing each other? No, but yes, of course, there's a right to exist.
So my next question would be like, do you believe in genocide?
They're like, well, technically, it's not genocide because they're settlers and it's on stolen land and da 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 da.
So yes.
Yep.
Yes. And also, why aren't they putting Kanye on a giant pedestal right now?
You'd think, but no, he watched 21 Jump Street and he was like, oh, actually, Jonah Hill made me like Jews now. So he's bad again. He's bad again. But I mean, he was going around with Nick Fuentes when he was on Alex Jones. That was Nick Fuentes. It was right after Timcast, right?
Yes. And didn't he left? Didn't he? Did he get up and leave in the middle of
Timcast? Yeah. Because I don't know if it was the three of them. If Milo, I don't remember if Milo was there, but it was definitely Nick and Kanye. And they said something about they're doing this, and Tim kind of tongue in cheek asked who's they, and then Nick goes, the Jews. And like it just started a thing, and Kanye got real mad real quick. He's like, "What is this? What is this?"
He thought it was a setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also was saying, shout out to Inside of the Ages. Welcome to the party. He was also saying that before the show started, he was trying to ask Tim and everybody there, like, how do I become president? How do I become president? And so, and he was like really hyper focused on that. And so when he left, it turns out that on his way out, he said, I got what I came for. And so it really seems like he just wanted to ask Tim, how do I become president? And then leave. So that's Kanye for you.
Why do you go on Timcast and ask Tim Pool how to become president?
I mean, I love me some Tim Pool, but I don't know. Certainly not an establishment figure. Certainly not.
He's never been president.
But all right, let's dive back in here.
Have a profoundly disruptive effect on people's lives. Well, what about the people affected by the crime itself?
I don't care about them.
So sorry that you broke the law, you committed a crime, and that you have to go to jail, and it's being so disruptive to your life. I mean, that's a typical slap in the face to all the victims that were affected by these crimes. Now, of course, it depends on the crime itself, but it's a slap in the face to the victim. And these are the same people always wanting to play the victim.
Mm-hmm.
So why is there no sympathy for actual victims? Revisions were passed in 2020, but essentially the law separates cases into two categories: bail eligible and everything else. Bail eligible cases, in almost any case involving a violent felony where the defendant must pay bail set by a judge or face detention. In almost all the other cases, which include misdemeanors and non-violent felonies, judges may release people on their own recognizance or impose some other set of conditions so they return to court. Conditions could include things like travel restrictions or pretrial supervision. As much as they'll claim that there is no data to support an increase in crime because of the reform, New York Post.
They tried to claim like, oh, no, there's no data. There's no data. And the New York Post was like, actually...
Well, so wait, what was the initial claim?
They claimed that there was no data to back up the rise in crime.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
In relation to the bail reform.
Gotcha.
They're like, no, there's no evidence. There's no data to back that claim.
Oh, so they were trying to say that there was if I were to guess, then it would be like, oh, well, crime is down from 2019 and bail reform started in 2019. So it's working. But it's like 2019 was up here. Or 2018 was like down here. 2019 and 2020 was like up here. And now we're here. And it's like, oh, we're doing great. We're doing great.
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that. What is Dylan saying here? So I think as someone who makes more money than he knows what to do with, give it to me, motherfucker. And has done so for over 2 decades. Would have to answer that question. Yeah. Oh, I thought you're saying you have that money, but yeah, I hear you. MLC9 said my dad must be turning in his grave. He liberated a death camp in World War II. He has zero tolerance for Holocaust deniers. Yeah, that's I think so this goes kind of back to exactly what we were saying. I almost feel like there's like a psyop going on because I just don't believe that there's that many people who look at the Jews as a cabal like that. Like I definitely see radical Muslims who have a specific issue with the Jews, but in terms of on a political realm in a political realm in America, it almost seems like there is a bunch of people who are trying to make Jews look bad, kind of bad enough so that the people who don't like Jews have something to say, but it seems coded. So it's not like there's, it's not like, people, Jewish Americans are doing some crazy thing, but there's enough going on that if you already are in that mindset, that you can point to this, that, and that. And so it gives them plausible deniability, but it creates a passion for or against Israel, which helps everybody in the government and a lot of other countries as well. We specifically heard Netanyahu talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, I got America. I don't remember what he said. America wrapped around our fingers, or they'll do it forever, or whatever. It just doesn't seem real.
Everyone needs a cause. Everyone needs a cause to fight for, or a group of people to fight against, or fight for.
That would be better.
The whole like BLM thing, and then we saw it with now we're seeing it like Palestinians versus Jews. And now it's like there's no meeting in the middle. You're either this or you're that. And if you weren't with BLM, then you're racist. And if you're not with Palestine, then you're evil. How dare you? How dare you? And it's just why are you? It brings us back to what we said at the very beginning of our discussion. It's like, why do you have to identify yourself as a policy or a political belief or a group of people that you have zero identity being identified with, period? Right. Like if you're not Palestinian, let them fight their battle.
Yeah, especially if you're queer. Like, trust me, they ain't riding for you like you ride for them.
Nope.
And yeah, I mean,
unless riding means flying, because they're going to throw you off the roof of a building.
Oh yeah. You're gonna have a nice carpet ride.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're gonna like the ending. But yeah, it's like the notion of having a personality just is gone. Like you don't have a personality, you have a cause. You don't have a personality, you have a gender identity. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Like when I was in hello there. Oh, look at that. Getting the drink brought to her. See, I need an assistant. But the what was I saying?
Identity politics. And
Yeah, so like when when I was younger, I don't know how old you are. We're about the same age. But when I was in high school, the thing was like being emo or scene or metal or and you had your music that was so important to you,
Yes.
but you still had a life outside of that, and you still very heavily identified in that clique, in that group, but only until like you got out of high school.
Yeah.
But this thing, with whether it's the trans thing, I think there's been a small but passionate uptick in religion, and again, whether it's any other of these issues, people just need something to do. It's like, go get a hobby.
They need to feel important.
Yep. I'm saving the world.
Yeah. It's like, you and like hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people who feel the same way. But it's technology, it's social media, it's giving everyone a voice, and your voice is being muddled.
Mm-hmm.
But you still think it's very important. And that's great. If you feel so passionately about making your voice heard, you have all the freedoms here to do that.
Yeah, you already won.
But why is it so important to you that you let it consume your life? Like therapy.
And I think it's just the culture. We just didn't know how to deal with the explosion of the internet and social media. Like there's no way that a human or humanity could have been ready for that. Yeah. And it does seem like we're starting to realize, like, okay, we have some idea of where the rails need to be, but we also can see that there are people who are trying to stretch that as far as it can go. That is not good. Seabass said, absurdism is believing that we can control our future. No, that is the opposite of absurdism. Absurdism is accepting in a nihilistic manner that you have no control over anything and there is no purpose. Yet, you can still have a good time. Dilly to absurdism.
Dilly.
I call myself an absurdist.
I like that one comment says, I don't think they fight for a cause anymore. They just virtue signal now.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Well said, Nick. Yeah, it's just about, like Meg was saying, what can make me feel good? And what can make me feel good, since I already have all of the things that I need to feel good, like shelter and food and friends and all that stuff, then I have to make something up. And that's where we get the virtue signaling.
It's like real life Vine. Do you remember the Vine, the app?
I do remember Vine. I kind of missed out on Vine. I didn't really I didn't really get into Vine. What do you mean it's the real life Vine?
Or okay. Did you ever watch Josie and the Pussycats, the movie?
Yeah. My sister loved that movie.
I love that movie. And all the subliminal messages that would change the trends. And it was hidden in music, it was hidden in movies and stuff.
Oh, right. Okay.
To me, I feel like we're actually living that. But there's no subliminal messages. They're just being told lies. And they're choosing to believe those lies. Yeah. But they're going along like sheep because they've been brainwashed like they were brainwashed in the movie. Oh my God, I just came up with an idea for an episode.
There you go. Write it down so you don't forget. I know,
I need to.
And that ties in exactly what you were saying about, them just poking and testing and seeing what they can get away with, because once they have that idea, we know that we can lock the entire world down.
Yeah.
If we need to, if we want to. Scary.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive back in here.
To support an increase in crime because of the reform, New York Post has an article that might suggest otherwise. In 2022, 10 criminals racked up a combined total of nearly 500 arrests in New York City.
And then I don't know if you guys are fans of Actual Justice Warrior, but he always quotes how 300 people do, I think it's like 50 or 60% of the crime in New York City.
10 people to 500, 2 of which were accused of embarking on a life of crime after the bail reform went into effect. One being busted 33 times and the other 22 times. Mayor Adams even had to step in and demand change by saying, quote, time and time again, our police officers make an arrest, and then the person who is arrested for assault, felonious assaults, robberies, and gun possessions, they're finding themselves back on the street within days, if not hours after the arrest.
If only somebody had the power to change that, Mayor Adams. If only.
One career criminal was busted 101 times, 88 of those being after the reform. 74 larceny charges, 15 convictions, including 3 for felonies, and he had failed to appear in court 14 times.
So clearly it's not...
It's not working.
Yeah, it's not doing... Or rather, it may be doing what you wanted it to do.
Yeah.
But you didn't know that what you wanted it to do would also include people getting arrested 100 times within, a couple years. Or was it even? It doesn't even matter. 100 times. That's a lot of times. I've been arrested 3 times, and that's a lot of times.
That's
100 times?
That was enough for you to be like, okay, shit.
Well, I mean, they legalized weed, and it was all weed stuff. So maybe would have gotten arrested again. But, the point is...
Yeah.
that 100 is too many. 100 is too many. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever been arrested before.
1 is too many.
Well, 1 is too many. Well, I mean, a 1 it depends on what you're doing. 1 you can get away with 1. Back me up. Who in the chat's been arrested before? You got 1, right? You got 1.
So if we go
one
back,
slide.
1. Yeah, that's everybody
what they
gets 1.
said about not the bail eligible cases, all the other ones, that they had to set certain conditions so that they would come back to court. They're not going back to court. This guy missed his court date 14 times. 14 different times. These New York Post figures were compiled by the NYPD. And it
was your blood alcohol level when you got arrested?
You'd be dead.
Naughty!
Shows a 25.9% increase.
That does not count. Getting pulled over is not getting arrested. If you were not, if you were not at least in cuffs, if you were not at least processed, you were not arrested. Okay? See, that's like I got that white privilege. Fair. Never been arrested, Meg?
That doesn't count down south. They'll arrest you just because they want to.
You've been able to evade the police your entire life?
I plead the 5th.
Fair enough.
And 3 or more arrests for robbery, burglary, or larceny in a single year from 2019, before the bail reform, to June 2022. And a 36.8% increase in shoplifting. And this includes like drug sales, theft. It goes on and on and on. And there's other data within the article, which is all these sources will be linked below so you can find it. But I just thought this was an interesting take and a good comparison to Joe's escape from prison. Number 5,
I agree.
Prostitution is legal and they're licensed.
I mean, do we even really have to get into that one? Like, very obviously, OF, P-Hub, all of that stuff has just run rampant.
Yeah, well, I didn't know this, and you don't have to play the rest of the video. We can just talk about it. I didn't know that in California, Gavin Newsom signed a bill to basically not make prostitution legal, but the consequences and criminal charges
way lower. Not surprising at all. Not surprising at all.
It's not surprising at all. And you can bring it back to Drag Queen Story Hour. Back in my day, and I think we're the same age, but I remember if a man exposed himself or showed up in any sort of sexual manner around children, automatic sex offender list.
Yeah. I mean, there's the joke on how many shows have used it that he's on the sex offender registry. What all he did was pee on a playground at night or something.
Horrible bosses. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Charlie Day. Love Charlie Day. Great movie. But yeah, that and I mean that's not the only one. There's others, and it's a common thing. Where it's I was just pissing on a building late at night, but I didn't realize it was this, the other, and it's just completely flipped upside down, And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that, you know, some of the like in the 90s when the evangelical religious right was really, you know, really in its heyday. I think what we're what we're seeing today is a direct pushback against that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets tough as somebody who holds the values that I have, but I don't have the beliefs that a lot of other people in, you know, who are Christians. It's like it's very easy for me to see the connection there.
Yeah.
But to everybody else, it's just like, well, obviously we just need to do more God. I was like, I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Just missed the common thing of right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everyone's opinions of what is right and what is wrong is different. But it's wrong to be sexual around children.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing right about that. That is wrong. Prostitution is wrong. Like it's always been frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing good about it. You are selling your body, and that can get a little religious and into the Christianity aspect of it. It's like your body is a temple. You shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But even regardless, everyone should be treating their body as a temple.
So I definitely agree. And Zippy here is saying prostitution should be legal. However, in tenant self-contractor way. So I guess that means more like like an OF thing. And I agree. I don't think it should be illegal. I don't think the government should be the arbiter of morality. I think that we as a society, as we once did, should decide that we don't like prostitution. We don't want that to be prevalent in society.
Yeah.
But if people choose to do that with their lives, I don't think that they should be locked up for doing that. I think that if two people want to do something that's not hurting anybody else, they should be able to do it. But clearly there is the people who are pushing for that are not pushing for that more libertarian stance of, well, okay, I don't like it, but we're just, it's about our principles that the government's not going to tell us. Like it's just, no, we want to do whatever we can get, because and I think it may have started as a reaction to the religious right. It's definitely, blown up into its own thing where there's this, again, victim mentality of the government's trying to take away my rights. So anything that you can do, it's like they feel like they have to stick their claws in it and make sure that we do it to show that it's not going to be illegal. Drag Queen Story Hour, is that really for the children? Or is it really for you to be able to say, well, we're allowed to do this? And again, I'm not even... I don't think drag shows for kids should be legal in any context at all. But I could be open to a conversation about Drag Queen Story Hour if it was something that could be in that more libertarian ground. But that's not what they're trying to do, and they try to pretend like it is. And this is when they bring in the bait and switch. I call it semantic obfuscation. You were bringing it up before, and use the word I always use to demonstrate the word Nazi. Nazi used to be somebody who was in the SS, who worked under Hitler. Now, Nazi is just anybody who doesn't agree with you.
Yeah.
And they use these words in such a way that positions them to always be right. And so while they know that it's inappropriate to have drag in front of children, they will use things like, well, it's not sexual, and twist the meaning of what sexual is, and talk about education and acceptance and all that stuff, when it's like, nobody said we wanted this shit to be accepted. Allowed and accepted are two very different things.
And isn't it funny how we hear more and more stories about these drag queens that are doing these Drag Queen Story Hours that have been arrested for child molestation?
Yep. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
So this bill that Governor Newsom signed, it was Senate Bill 357, or the Safer Streets for All Act. into law, repealing a statute that prohibited loitering with the intent to engage in prostitution that went into effect January of last year. The repeal adds California's law that criminalizes loitering with the intent to commit prostitution, gives law enforcement a tool to harass and discriminate against Black and trans communities, particularly women of color. Yeah, the bill will repeal. The bill will repeal. That's hard to say.
There you go. You got it.
California law that has allowed for targeted discriminatory policing of communities of color and enable people who have been convicted using this objective law. So basically, they're saying the police can't do their job without getting reprimanded for targeting specific groups of people.
Yeah. And like, this is where I forget who it was. Was it Zippy? Was it you was talking about qualified immunity the other day, where like we should completely get rid of it? And you know, when you see that this is how they're trying to police the police, then it does make sense that it's like, all right, we can't do this the exact same way. You can't be treated as the exact same person. Otherwise, the value of having a police force is irrelevant. Now, if we want to have a conversation that we don't need a police force and we should all just be our own militia, we can have that conversation. I'm down to have that conversation. But most people aren't willing to go there. Shout out to Petrie. Welcome. Yeah, I a lot of people do not like the community. Shout out to Mike Harlow, going to be on his show Thursday. It was going to be tomorrow, but Thursday. But I want to get what did Zippy say? So he said prostitution should be legal. However, we got that one already. Was there something else?
Is that my experience? My experience.
Yeah, he's saying when they're contractors, they control the money, no street level, and brothels are not what are hotels that cater to the workers and clientele. And so, obviously, again, we've expressed that neither of us would be okay with visiting an establishment like this. But are you okay saying legally that this shouldn't exist?
See, I just think it's wrong to solicit sex for money. I don't think that should be, I don't think that should be a profession.
I agree with you, but that's not the question.
I know.
Holding your feet to the fire.
But I think it holds more of a moral standard for our country if it is illegal. Because if we look at countries like Amsterdam, they have brothels still. Like you can go and get a hooker and it's fine. And that's why.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to. You
absolutely
don't have to.
But
I don't
so
think
here, wait, so let's any film, I'm gonna come back to this. So here, prostitution is illegal, but you can do whatever you want, but we have pimps and streetwalkers and all that stuff. What Zippy is talking about is if we, similar to, alcohol prohibition, cannabis prohibition, all this stuff, if it's legalized and regulated in such a way that you don't have to engage with it, but the people who choose to are safer than if we just say, oh, well, we don't like it, so can't do it. And now there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, which is a better situation, where we have the streetwalkers and the pimps, or we have the regulated brothels where girls are tested and there's security and, it's all on the up and up and they're paying taxes into the system, all that kind of stuff. Because
I get the idea. And I think that is a better solution. I still don't agree.
You just don't like it. You just don't like it.
OnlyFans is prostitution.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's no question. But again,
I'm like, why is it okay for them to do it? That's what I don't understand.
Okay, in what context?
Meaning, like, I don't understand how they're getting away with prostituting themselves. Like, they're basically performing sexual acts for money live. That's basically like going to one of those houses in Amsterdam.
I think the huge gap is physical touch. The fact that you're not actually physically touching anything. So if I had to guess, that's where I would think. But again, it comes down to the principles versus emotions. And it's like we have to operate on principles because we're all going to have different emotions. And so I personally, in my humble opinion, I think that the utmost liberty is more important than having the government dictate what American morality should be. I think we as Americans decide what our morality is, not the government.
But at the current trajectory of morality, do you see that going worse or even worse?
If people would listen to me, then it would be we would be off to utopia. But now everybody's getting dogmatic and it's going in the wrong direction. But, I think that there's just as much damage with people picking up religion as there is with people going down the trans route. Because even if as an atheist, again, I see Christianity as a positive force at this moment. Shout out to PT Crypto Club over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. The fact is, people are just not capable of again, any film. We're coming back. People are just not capable at large of creating their own moral structure. Clearly, people can do it. I did it. A lot of people I know have done it, but just people, we're not there yet. There needs to be a prepackaged thing that's like, here's the rules, follow the rules. And so right now, I think Christianity is the best version of that we have. Yeah. I don't think, secular humanism is, it doesn't have enough passion. Like there's not enough reason. There's not enough mission. But with my idea of the what I call the American identity is basically just taking the values that you find in most major religions, a reverence for family and community and tradition, grace and forgiveness, merit, capitalism, all of these types of things that you find within whatever religion, but it's not tied to any dogmatic belief. It's just the understanding that it's either this or we die, we lose. Mm-hmm. And if you are going to stick to, no, we have to have all the LGBT, whatever that Petrie's talking about, this whole community, it's got to be, we're taking over. Well, you're going to lose. And if you think that bringing in all of these people who don't actually really believe in your religion into your church, all you're doing is expanding what this sacred group is supposed to be to the point where it's meaningless.
Yeah. And
so it's like, oh, we're Christians. We follow Christianity. It's like, okay, well, I know you know what you mean for you, but does the person who's sitting next to you, are they doing the same thing? Or do they have a different thought when they say God? Do they have a different thought when they say the Holy Spirit? Do they have different thought when they say good or evil? Mm-hmm. And so I think, we need to, number one, move past dogma. But in the meantime, we need that dogma for the people who are not able to, just be a good person for the sake of being a good person.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. We were harping on the fact that people have such a need to identify with a cause. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's the same with Christianity. I'm sure that the people that are trying to force this agenda on people, they hate Christians because they feel like Christians are trying to force their ideology down their throat. Well, the Christians, we're like, well, you're trying to force your crap down my throat and I don't want it.
Yep. So everybody's guilty.
Everybody wants their own piece of the pie. I don't know if that made sense.
No, yeah. You're spot on. You're spot on. All right, any film, I promised we come back. We are back. So he says, in my experience, drag queens dress as exaggerated versions of women. How come in Drag Queen Story Hour, people dress like some kind of demon? This is a great question. I have no idea. I didn't. I don't have any drag experience, but
I used to
yeah.
love drag queens.
Okay.
Like, as a kid, I actually loved drag queens. And that's weird coming from an Alabama girl. Whoa.
Tell us all about it.
Never been
Spill
to a
the
drag.
tea.
I've never been to a drag show.
Okay, you weren't into drag then.
But when I was really young, there's this movie called Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, Tu Wong Fu. Or Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. And it's got Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, and Patrick Swayze in it, and they dress up as drag queens. And it's hilarious. But the only reason why I liked it was because RuPaul was in it. And I was obsessed with RuPaul. And my mom thought it was hilarious.
What is the? Because again, I completely missed out on the allure of what RuPaul was. Like, I don't. That was in a time where you could still openly just say like, "Oh, that's gay," and like that was fine. So I just didn't watch it because it looked gay, and so I don't even know.
I don't know. I guess it was because like when he was in drag, he was so sparkly and glamorous, and like as a little girl, I'm like, wow, I love that. And I was like, Mom, she's so pretty. And my mom would go, Megan, that's a man.
Ooh, yeah.
And I go, no, that's not a man. That's not a man, Mom. No, look, she's in a dress. She's like, yeah.
Oh, your poor innocent little heart.
That's what we call transvestites.
Yep. And now you can't even use that word anymore because that's transphobic. And I think it would help them. I think it would help that community to separate transvestite versus
transgenders.
Sorry, clients 24/7 jobs. You know, we got to do the damn thing.
Hustle.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it would help them if they talked about people who went through with surgery, and you would be a transvestite, and somebody who socially transitioned would be transgender. I think that makes so much sense. It would help a lot of confusion. But far be it.
You used to say cross dressers, trannies,
right?
That's not politically correct. But I used to watch RuPaul's Drag Race because it was funny. The whole point of drag was comedy. It's obvious that a man is dressed as a woman in such an extravagant way that they call it painting their face. They're painting themselves to appear as a woman because it's funny. And now it's become this thing that's supposed to be brave, bold, and beautiful. And I'm like, no, drag is funny.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because the only drag I guess are they all queens drag person? I don't know. Lady Maga. I don't know if you're familiar with Lady Maga.
Yeah.
So I've talked to him a bunch, and it seems so simple. It's like, yeah, I'm a dude and I like to wear makeup and dresses. I don't think I'm a chick. Like, what?
Yeah.
It seems like it's too simple for it to be this complicated.
Yeah.
So Guansek is saying, I look at prostitution kind of the way I look at abortions. I believe people should have the right, but I will fight as hard as I can to convince them otherwise. Ron Paul had it right. Abortion shouldn't be illegal. It should be unthinkable. Dilly to Ron Paul. I agree. I completely agree. I think it well, I mean, I don't know about how. I definitely think there could be more restrictions on abortion, but at least with in either case, the idea is that I don't like the government being the arbiter of morality. The government says this is the right thing and that's the wrong thing. I don't like the government, so a lot of the things that they say I don't agree with. So that's just where liberty is a fundamental principle for me, so that when it gets to that emotional aspect of the issue, whether it's prostitution or the trans stuff or abortion or anything else, I rely on the principle rather than the emotion.
Yeah.
Anything here? Let's draw some of this, and then I want to move on and ask you a little some. Nick says, usually if something is criminalized, there's more violence involved. I wonder if that makes it worse than if it would be regulated. I mean, the thing is, if it was regulated, and again, I'm not somebody who's in favor of regulation, but if something's already going down, then at least if she can go, if some streetwalker is getting the shit beat out of her by her pimp, gotta keep the pimp hand strong. But then she can go to the police and say, "Hey, this dude is agitating me," and it just creates a system, and systems are imperfect. But it does seem like there needs to be one, because ain't nobody gonna stop fucking for money. Ain't nobody gonna get people to stop fucking for money.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No.
Hell no.
He said, liberty and individualism, no force allowed unless for assault, coercion, and theft. Exactly. Let's see if we missed anything else here. The police, as Zippy says, are a corporate force. As a corporate force, the bureaucracy makes police bad. If you had more locally elected sheriffs and local deputies, you'll have less corruption. I agree. And again, there's there's definitely things that can when bringing elections and campaigning, there's problems there. But local always tends to work out better. M169 said, thankfully, you didn't turn out like Desmond is amazing. His mom plopped him in front of RuPaul when he was very little, and your mom pointed out reality.
My mom pointed out reality. Yes, she did. She did a really good job too.
Fill me in. What the fuck are we talking about?
Talking about how I loved RuPaul and my mom thought it was funny. She did. She always thought it.
Oh, that you? Okay, gotcha.
Two and two. It weird.
Takes me second time.
Meghan, why do you love her or like him? Like, that's a man. So pretty.
Hey, I mean, if you can pull it off, whatever works for you, girl or man.
That's like a slur to transgenders now.
Whoops.
Yeah, you can pull it off. You pass. That's what they said is you definitely pass.
That I was half expecting when you brought up RuPaul, you to say like, actually, I'm a man, and I'll be like, no way, what?
How about Scooby do this shit?
Those meddling kids. Yeah, so switching gears a little bit. I wanted to ask you about your experience having a podcast. It seems like you have a pretty solid setup, and you got a good presence. You got the secret lab chair and the Shure mic, all that stuff. So clearly you're not just starting out for the first time. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So actually, first and foremost, not practicing anymore, but occasionally, I'm a musician.
Oh, nice.
Singer-songwriter, and I started writing and producing my own music when I was 19, and then played in a band for over 10 years, and I was the front lady of the band, and that's actually how I met my husband. Nice. And he's a drummer and an audio engineer, and he works in production. So naturally, Nashville is a great place to be for touring production.
Yeah, definitely. Hold up. Sorry to interrupt you. Is this true? You're a veteran?
No, he means like in the content creation.
Okay, all right. I was like, we gotta dilly that, but either way, dilly to all the veterans.
Yes, dilly to all the veterans, especially M169. Your
M169.
Dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your dad. Dilly to your daddy.
There you go. Okay, sorry to interrupt you. So yeah, he's a drummer and audio engineer, and that's how you guys met.
Yes. And he gets, a lot of really great gear. But when I was on the other podcast, I named it earlier. I don't want to name drop again because I don't want to.
Feel free.
I actually came in with the idea of the content that I'm creating now. And at first it was like, yes, let's do that. That's great. We'll add it in addition to what it was. And then like we started to do it, and then it started to get like turned down, and the ideas would get turned down, and there was a big age gap between us, so it just became this like creative difference type of thing. And
you were the older one, or she was the older one?
I was the older one. But the show got a big production upgrade because I have access to a studio that is my studio. And I was doing Twitch streaming before that, so that's how I got used to talking on camera and doing all the things. And
it's a skill. You definitely gotta work up to it.
Yeah. And then of course being on stage and doing like stage manager and stuff also helps too. And doing that for years.
Yeah, I remember being in a band. We only played a few shows, but being out there is
fun. I do miss it, and like I do teetering around the idea of like, let's get the band back together.
No, if you need an extra guitarist or bassist, or you said your husband's a drummer, but I could send you some tracks.
Oh, thank you for being
here.
Yeah,
shout out to Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for being your audience, for being so receptive. This is amazing.
They love you.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm just a dork, okay?
Aren't we all?
Really,
Aren't we all?
Dorky stuff in the background.
I've been eyeing that Thanos gauntlet.
This is the Hulk one.
Oh, the Hulk one. Yeah, nice. Yo, that's even cooler.
From in-game.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Does it make any sounds or?
Yeah. So it makes like when you
nice.
It makes a sound. And then, so don't judge me. I'm totally wearing sweatpants.
So am I. I'm wearing sweatpants and I got my feet heater. Shout out to anybody if you have cold feet. Get one of these. Okay, I'm just gonna pull it over here. But these things are amazing. It's an electric foot warmer.
Ooh.
All
Not
winter, summer. Yeah, definitely not a sponsor. But if anybody wants to pay me, definitely. And even throughout the summer, my feet will get cold. So I have one down here. I have one in my room. It's amazing. Amazing.
Cold here. This morning it was like 38.
Oh, I can't stand the cold.
Yes, Stormbreaker.
So where are you? Before we if we could take a little detour. Where are you at with the current MCU? Because I never really knew, like I wasn't into comics. I never read any of them. Oh, nice. I like that. I didn't realize I didn't realize that like it was all interconnected and everything. And so in the early movies, I'm like, they're making another Iron Man. Who cares about Thor? And it wasn't until, like I was saying with Invincible, I have few people that I trust to tell me like what's good to watch. Otherwise, unless I find it on my own, all the things that the biggest example, This Is Us. Everybody's like, oh my God, This Is Us is amazing. Got through the entire first season. Terrible show. Anyway, so it wasn't until don't waste your time.
Okay.
Jack dies in a fire. Boom.
I already knew that because everyone was posting about it.
That was all I wanted to find out. But yeah, I agree with you here, Izio, because I didn't realize what like the MCU actually was until after Infinity War was out, and because I didn't care about avoiding spoilers or anything, so I knew what happened at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah,
Endgame was my first like real MCU experience. And so, I mean, that was cool. But then, since then, it's not been. Actually, no. Technically, I did see Winter Soldier in the theaters with Akon. Shout out to Akon. But I didn't remember much of it. And I did see the original, the first Hulk. But yeah, so I've been in a wishful thinking phase for the last few years, just hoping that they're gonna bring it back. And I really think like She-Hulk was the bottom of the barrel. And like everybody's heard my theory before, so I'll run through it rather quickly. But I think when Captain Marvel came out, and because it was sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame, and it did really well because of that. Yeah. Then Marvel was like, oh yeah, let's lean into the wokeness, let's lean into the chick shit.
Yeah,
but put a chick in it, make it gay, that whole thing. And the timing that it takes from we should do this to you actually watching it on a theater screen is a long time. And so then you bring in the COVID restrictions and the time that it takes for that. I think that they rather quickly realized that the MCU stuff wasn't working, which is why I think they dropped Echo in one day. And that's why they dropped the Marvels when they got rid of so many other things. They got rid of that Agatha show. They got rid of so much bullshit. And I don't know if you've been watching X-Men, but X-Men is awesome. And like Zio saying,
I heard that they changed a bunch of stuff. Did they not?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's like a continuation, so they didn't change much of like what was the original story, but they added new elements for like where it's going.
Okay.
But yeah, and then putting so much, not just money, but production into Deadpool and Wolverine, and this being only one of 2 movies this year. I've been saying this for years, since Endgame, but I think, fingers crossed, that Marvel is going to pull it together. I don't know.
This is interesting, and I'm debating which episode to edit for this week because of the Deadpool trailer that came out today. I have an episode coming out about the scene in Endgame. If you've never seen it, spoiler alerts. If you haven't seen it, what roles have you been living under?
For roles.
The moment, there's 2 moments. The moment when Cap calls Mjolnir, he gets the hammer. Everyone was like, and then the second moment is when you hear
Avengers Assemble.
Oh wait, let's see if I can do it. Hold on. Let's see.
On your left.
When he says on your left, you hear him.
Wait, what? Yes. Wait, what's the what moment is that?
When you think that this is it, there's no hope.
Is this when they were on Titan?
No, this is when
the final battle.
When Thanos is beating the shit out of Tony, out of Thor, and out of Cap.
And then that's when Captain Marvel comes in and saves the day, right?
No. So this is when
who says whose voice is that? Who says on your left?
Sam. Falcon.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking that was a play the sound again. That sounded like a chick's voice.
No, it was me. It was me.
Oh, okay. That's why I was confused. Yeah. That's because I was like, I know the on your left thing was the from first Avenger. Yeah, first Avenger or whatever when they're running, and so that was a callback to that. Yeah. Okay, I was confused because I thought so. Who was the girl that said it?
You hear a little intercom come through, and you have on your left.
Yeah,
and everyone in the theater went silent. Everyone got goosebumps, and everyone was sat up. Everyone in the room was feeling the exact same emotion. And then everyone started to come through the portals, and it was they're back. It worked. Oh my God. And then finally, after 10 years in the making, Captain finally says, Avengers Assemble.
And again, even though I got to, I saw that movie in the theaters, I didn't have the 10 years. I binged most of the movies in the last 2 months. And so it was very cool. But now I'm really hoping that, I'm really hoping that they pull it back together. Well, like I said, there's a theory that the current MCU is actually a result of the Hulk snap in Endgame, and that there's an opportunity to retcon everything from that point. I am down.
Well, to the point of that scene, it's to me, that was an accumulation and an investment of over 10 years of an experience of putting all the puzzle pieces together. And to me, I cannot imagine there being a more epic monumental cinematic moment in history like that one.
Nope.
My hope
I saw it. I missed it.
Is that Deadpool and Wolverine saves the day.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in game. It's not.
Yeah. And even me knowing that I missed the boat. I missed the boat of the build up and then it all culminating in Endgame. I missed that, and I agree with you. I don't know if there's ever going to be something, at least in the medium of movies as we see them now. I'm sure, there's movies that came out 50 years ago. Well, I mean, Star Wars came out. Like, oh my god, they're never gonna, whatever. But yeah, I do, as much as I don't think it can ever reach that level. If it could get close, I'll be happy because I never experienced the 10-year buildup anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even now though, it doesn't matter because you could still binge watch everything in cinematic release order, which is what I recommend. I don't recommend timeline order. You could still go back and watch it, and even when you get to Endgame and you watch that part again, it's still gonna feel the same because you still put in the time and the investment. But for the people like me who have been watching it for 10 years, I mean, it's been like a long time coming. But She-Hulk was garbage.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Miss Marvel was garbage.
I was okay with it. I was like, okay, this is supposed to be like more to a younger audience, and I went into it understanding that. I thought it was okay. I like the character. I don't really like how they put it out there. And then she was the only good part of the Marvels. But we can get rid of her.
I thought Hawkeye was a bit of a letdown. Falcon
Yep.
Soldier.
That was so bad. Is that who was just Dylan was just talking about this when Falcon 9 talking literal Antifa going out to bitch out to the center. You got to do better. Yeah. So I think all of that stuff, Simi doesn't agree with me here, but I think all of that stuff was already down the pipe. And now that we're seeing what X-Men has done, and the fact that they're redoing Daredevil, which already has people already have an opinion on Daredevil.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The thing is, like, the one of the reasons that hopefully Deadpool kills
I watched the trailer today, and literally when it ended, I stood up on the couch and was going, "Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go!" Yeah, I'm hyped for it. But it's a shame because the same fucking thing happened to me with Game of Thrones. I was like, oh, some fantasy bullshit. What is that? I don't know. I'm not gonna watch that. And after season 7, when the final season, I'm like, all right, I'll check out what's going on here. Maybe whatever. And so I got to watch or I binged all the first 7 seasons. The only season I got to watch as it aired was season 8. And so I'm just hoping for something. What's that?
I did the same thing.
And so I missed out on it. But see, so you got the Marvel stuff. You missed out on Game of Thrones. I missed them, but I just want something where I can be in the theater and everybody is just cheering. That's it. I don't need it to be Endgame level. I'm a happy boy. Just a good movie.
You need like a good original series.
Mm.
There hasn't been that in a long time. Like, they keep remaking stuff, and no one asked for a remake.
Nope.
No one asked for a sequel 20, 30 years later. Like, just come up with something original.
Yeah, I agree. And that is kind of why, I just canceled Netflix. I should have canceled it like a long time ago, but I was too addicted to it. And so now I'm trying to, I still have Amazon, and then I'm, downloading shit and whatever. But the dating reality shows, my guilty fucking pleasure. Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, The Ultimatum. Oh,
The Ultimatum, because we started watching Love is Blind and we can't look away.
It's so good. So the Ultimatum is couples go in, and then one of them is like, you have to marry me at the end or we're breaking up. And so they go through the whole season and they go through challenges and whatever. Too Hot to Are you familiar with Too Hot to Handle?
I've heard of it, but I don't know.
That's a fun one. That one's not like I get into Love Is Blind. Like I am sobbing at some episodes. But Too Hot to Handle is a lot more fun because it's they take a bunch of like younger, hornier, hotter people and tell them that they're going on this, sex, drug, or not drug, but alcohol fueled vacation. And then the rules are that there's no touching at all. No kissing, no heavy petting, no, what do they call it? And I think it's like, I want to say like 4 or 6 weeks. And then like, as you make connections with people, then, like maybe you get a pass to go on a date and you'll get like a bracelet that has a green light. You're like, oh, we can kiss. And I don't know. I love it. I love it. What's
I need to watch that.
What's your favorite part about Love Is Blind?
I guess it's a different perspective being married and watching it. And like for me, I'm watching it going, how? Like I get it. I understand like how easy it could be to like get infatuated with someone that quickly based off of literally just talking, which I actually love that, building an emotional intimacy before a physical intimacy. But we as humans have that human nature where like it is nice to be physically attracted to your partner, but you can still be physically attracted to your partner if you're emotionally intimate with them. Right. Because emotional intimacy can build that attraction because you're Definitely. So connected. Yeah. That you just feel attracted to that person. I do think that's a little bit more apparent with women. I like there's just a bigger physical aspect for men, but I also think that like while men might have a higher while looks might be a higher priority, the level of looks required is going to be much lower. Like, as long as she ain't busted, as long as she ain't fat, and as long as she's nice, we good. Whereas, like, I applied to be on the show, but I think being 5'4" kind of, I don't know, I love Ain't That Blind. Well, you see, like, you'll see, like, occasional, like, bigger girls for, like, a hot second, and then they disappear. So, like, where do they go? They didn't find anybody. Oh my god! So are you watching from season 1, or are you watching the most recent season? I think we've watched 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we've watched all of them. There's 6. Yeah, we've watched. Plus there's Sweden and Brazil. Okay, I haven't watched that. So, but I think the one I forget which. I think it's season 4, but yeah, I think season 4 is the best. But yeah, who was in that one? I don't remember. It was. I remember it. Whatever season I'm thinking of is with the black dude, the light skinned black dude. Let's see. Come on, give me what I'm looking for. It should be like he. Come on, baby. Oh, Cole. I remember Cole. Oh, that was the last one we watched. I don't remember what it is. Oh, I don't remember. Man. I don't remember. But yeah, I think it's a really I think it's an interesting experiment. I don't know how, like you were saying, that if you can build that emotional connection, then maybe it can overcome some of the lack of physical attraction. But if it's not there, it's not there. And especially in the later seasons, you see like that some people are, they wanted it, but they just couldn't have it. And I thought, like, especially for somebody like me who, like, I know I'm good at talking. I think I'm a pretty interesting person, but my height does get in the way of being able to show that. And so I thought it would be awesome to be on the show just to even see like what would happen. But I don't even, now that I wasn't picked, I'm kind of glad, because I'd seen what they go through. Like, if I went in these pods, I definitely would fall for somebody. There's no way I'm not falling for somebody. So I'm falling for somebody.
and then they may or may not like how I even look. They may lie about how they feel about how I look. And then we go and we're falling in love and we're in Mexico or Dominican Republic or wherever. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I found my wife. The search is over. Happily ever after. And she's like, actually, I'm good.
Yeah, it's when they get to the altar and they're like, they have to say yes or no at the altar. I'm like, that is
part of. Yeah, it's part of the contract. If you don't go to the altar, then you have to pay the show $50,000. So even if you are like, I think if you have to get to if you get to a certain like a certain part of the show, but yeah, if you get to that point, like if you're one of the chosen couples and then you don't go to the altar, that's why when you could see some of the couples that are definitely not gonna stay together, but they're there and like
they have to go.
Well, I didn't think they were gonna be get good, but they're here.
Yeah.
Hey, cruelty makes great TV, but I think it's more about just seeing how as somebody who's really interested in psychology, it's just about like the notion of like, okay, how would somebody act in this situation?
Yeah.
For a lot of reality TV, that's all it is.
Well, I have a guilty pleasure for a couple of the Real Housewives franchises.
Okay. Which one?
New Jersey is my favorite.
I knew it. I had a feeling.
New Jersey is and I actually ran into Melissa Gorga at the airport last week in Nashville. I saw Joe Gorga and I was like, that's Joe Gorga. And then I looked over and I was like, that's Melissa.
Yeah. I never got into the housewife shows, but I can already tell you that Jersey and Atlanta are definitely the wildest ones. No, am I wrong?
No, you're right. Jersey's my favorite. Miami gets crazy too.
Oh, I didn't know those were Miami. All right, Miami.
You better talk really fast.
Why are you not talking to me?
Oh, girl, no. They talk really fast and they get like super passionate and heated. I used to love Beverly Hills, but then they got like real scripted real quick. I mean, it's all scripted, but
yeah. And so that's kind of what M169 is saying. I can't watch stuff like that. Watching someone get toyed with.
Yeah,
there's definitely, let's say, a spectrum of different types of like how real and how much of like, oh, we're just watching this person suffer. I think shows like the Housewives shows are more on the side of whatever is good TV.
Yeah,
and there's definitely a lot of fakeness and stuff in any reality TV show, but a show specifically like Love Is Blind, the real point isn't like, yes, there's drama and there you see the what's going on with the people, and this person was talking to that girl and now he's texting her, but they're together, all that kind of stuff. And like, not our business, but that's what they're for. But the show really, at least seems to be like trying to find people who can get together.
I love Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen, yeah. The food ones can get I get sucked into the food ones. There was a barbecue one I was watching, and then have you seen Is It Cake?
Yes.
Why is that so addicting? Why is it so addicting?
Great British baking show.
Yep.
I love that one. And then there was another one that was some guy from Australia, and it was like all these really whimsical desserts that they would have to make. Oh, it started with a Z. It was on Netflix, but it was crazy the stuff that they had to make.
Yeah,
it was art. I'm like, how do you do that?
And that's, again, I think that it's so easy for people to brush off reality TV as just like, oh, lowbrow, whatever. But again, depending on what show we're talking about, like, yes, there is some really lowbrow shit, but there's also some really interesting, like, especially the ones that kind of in the same category as the food ones, the ones that will follow a particular job. So like there was one, there was a I think it was called Blown Away, maybe. It was a glass blowing
I remember that.
I was like, this is cool. I mean, as a
the tattoo competition one.
Oh yeah, Ink Master. I was actually on Ink Master season. Oh, let's see if we can find it.
What?
Season.
I'm gonna clip somewhere on American Idol going down the no elevator.
Ooh. Okay. Fucking. What would you?
Why you find that? I mean, all reality TV, having been through that American Idol thing, is all a letdown. Like being disappointed and being like toyed with. They do that on all those singing competition shows.
Really?
Like, so the American Idol process is that you go. There's a cattle call where you see like them going into like the big arena with hundreds of thousands of people. Like that's one day, and then if you make it past that, then you come back a month later, and there's 2 days of an audition. And if you make it past that, then you come back another month later, and there's 2 more days of auditions, and the last round, depending on what kind of story you have, they'll do interviews with you all day long and talk about your life and where you've been, where you grew up, tragedies that you've been through, devastating losses that you've been through. And they make you think you're in.
Right.
You're in. And that's what they did with me. They made me talk about losing my brother. And then I went up and I said no. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm nope. I'm glad I didn't even get to that stage with that show. Like this was, it was tattoo. So if I didn't get it, I didn't get a tattoo. So Nick, I do believe that the Real World was one of the first. Well, it was definitely the first one that was popularized. But I think Survivor or Big Brother may have come first. But
Big Brother definitely was crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. See, this is maybe my third time hearing about Ted Lasso. I watched the first episode and it didn't catch me. But now that I've heard Glomtech, somebody who's a TV prowess I trust, I'm like, all right. Especially now that I don't have Netflix anymore. I'm gonna check that out. Kinda. Oh yeah. Not off topic at all. We are talking about TV. So check me out. I'm on here for like 15 seconds.
3 hours remaining.
This was season 6, episode 8, and it was the postcard challenge. So I didn't actually, I didn't actually get like the 6 hour thing. It was a 4 hour thing. But yeah, so you go in and you pick just a place or a thing that would be a postcard. And so when I was 23, me and a bunch of friends went to Hawaii for just kind of a bros trip to be like just before we all grow up and whatever. And it was a really cool time. Unfortunately, Akon decided that instead of spending the money to because one of our friends had like a villa as a graduation gift or something, and Akon decided instead of spending the money just for the flight to come and be in Hawaii with us for a week, he decided to buy a motorcycle. And 7 weeks later, he died on it. Moral of the story, always go to Hawaii.
Oh my gosh.
There's one part. This was part 2 of the video. In part 1, it's like when you're talking to the artist, and I'm on for 15 seconds, and I'm like, Hawaii, man, you don't forget that. I'm wearing like a button-up blue shirt, and I wore pants because I was going to get it on my chest, but I decided to put it on my thigh. So they had to give me some like janky sweatpants shorts. Weird, and it was freezing. It was freezing. Okay, please don't claim this shit.
Steve's, come on up.
Nobody's paid me, so
why did you choose
all right? So we had the City of Flowers
Seattle as the postcard that you wanted?
That was the first time that I left New York City and went to the West Coast. That trip changed my life.
I feel like the Space Needle just kind of comes out of the blue at the bottom of the bridge. The left side
Is it
looks...
wrong of me to say that tattoo looks really old?
What did you say?
It looks really old.
Yeah, it's got the very pastel. It doesn't have any blacks, so yeah, it looks a little
like
faded. Yeah, and even around the edge. I think it was like an effect that they were trying to do, but
Built the structure into flowers. Just
And are you kidding me? Oh
Wait,
my
there's
god!
got to be a part 2.
There's a part 3.
There
See
you
the ads, guys! Oh, we gotta watch ads because you don't pay. If I could get YouTube Premium, we wouldn't have to watch ads.
5G network. Switch and save.
Okay, here we go.
Well, that was it.
That's me. That's me. That's me.
Oh,
That's my little baby thigh.
The hula girl in the foreground, the ocean in the background.
Simple idea, but
And I really the postcard itself was kind of already there, and then we changed up the text, and then he put this little thing with the reflection in the water. I was like, hell yeah.
dude, that bamboo lettering is.
Foreground, the ocean in the background.
simple idea, but the way it's laid out just brings it home.
Dave.
I love the composition.
That was a good one.
And you have the bridge on one side and the falls on the other.
it's undeniable what it is that we're looking at as far as hitting the postcard.
Clear
feel.
colors.
Tyler.
I think
This
he did a
guy
great
was
job
good.
here.
This was
Without the word.
I was terrified of this one. Hey, look who we got. Shout out to little Miss Jacob in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just drop the link. We've been going for a while, but if you want to come up, come on up. We're just showing off my victory on Ink Master.
The challenge?
Arizona.
Oh yeah. Okay, hey, little Miss Jacob. Let me grab your link for you here.
Chris.
This is a classic postcard look. The words swooping through nicely. The simple composition, I think, stands out very strong.
This is what defines being able to see a bit of everything. You really knock it out of the park.
That one, well, when here it looks really dark. It was a black dude, but and so the lighting that they have was for white people. So this was a lot better than it looked here.
Stands out.
I was
very
like,
strong.
again, I'm
This
like,
is what defines being able to see a bit of everything.
let's
You really knock it out of the
speed
park.
all right. Yeah, so I've had my own little brush with reality TV, and you can see that there's definitely fakeness to it. But depending on what you're watching, there's really stuff that you can glean value from. You know, in the same way that people kind of brush off comic book stuff and fantasy stuff, as I did. There's definitely a value in that.
Yeah, and like my whole experience with American Idol was that, and then actually with The Voice, they do private auditions. You like get to skip all the bullshit and go straight ahead. And
If you're like really good, why would you just get?
It's like a need to know basis type thing.
Oh, okay. If you know the right hands to shake.
You,
We need the bad auditions from American Idol though. That's the only thing I've ever seen from American Idol.
You remember Pants on the Ground?
Not by name, but
Oh, you don't remember the Pants on the Ground guy? Okay, let me see if I can find it. I'll send you the link. But it was the black guy, and he's going.
what was it? Pants on the Ground?
Yeah, do American Idol Pants on the Ground.
What if we got a
Hello.
holy Well, that is not what I meant. Hey, my boy Andy with a $5 super chat. Let's give that Morty a treat. Make sure he's on camera. Yummy. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. I don't know if I can ask Meg to stay any longer, but I definitely will if you'll want to. So we have I have my little banner here that's like, if you want to keep me here, then just pay me. That's only for me. We're not going to keep you too long. Where are we? Okay.
Your name is Larry Platt?
Please. Fair use. That was amazing. Shout out to the Funk Master General. Welcome to the party. Let's feed the little man. Thank you, sir. And of course,
my doggy.
yeah, whenever I go on other people's channels, just to let you know, if you're watching, if anybody super chats the channel that I'm on, Morty also gets a treat. Shout out to the Funk Master General for being the new co-sponsor of the stream. Thank you. All right, let's finish this up. I got to see the rest. This is within the time when it really was appropriate to like the I don't know if this was 90s or early 2000s or whatever, but the whole sagging your pants thing.
2009, because I was there.
You were there?
I was there. In person.
Okay, well, you can't just say that and not explain.
That was the audition I was at. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I saw that in real time, in real life.
John said, when a kid in music class wants attention. Yes. There you go. Oh, my goodness.
I have a buddy too.
Hey, shout out to the puppy. Oh, my goodness. Look, what? Do you know what you're looking at? You have no idea. You're like, I know that's a thing. I don't understand that it represents real life. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We have been going for just over 2.5 hours. I'm actually going to go over your Ace Ventura video since they are paying me here. If you would like to stay, you are absolutely more than welcome. But if you got to go, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, we can talk about Ace Ventura for a little bit, and then I'll hop off.
Let's do it. Everybody put Meg in the chat. Where are we here? Let's see if the Ace Ventura one will be here. It's never the one you want is never in the it's never in the side suggestions, is it?
No. It's that first one right there says can't cancel Snowflake.
I knew it was
Einhorn is Finkel.
Skip ahead.
Finkel is Einhorn. Welcome to On This.
Oh no, we jamming out. Actually, no.
Make sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time a video gets uploaded. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is a movie that my family, particularly my big brother, absolutely love to watch, quote, reenact.
Shout out to Josh.
It is definitely one of the first movies that comes to my mind when I think of Jim Carrey. It's by no means a cinematic masterpiece, but it's a classic Jim Carrey slapstick cult classic comedy from the 90s. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was released February 4th, 1994. It stars Jim Carrey, Courtney Cox, Sean Young, Tone Loc, and Dan Marino. The Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 47%, while the audience score is 57%.
I am shocked.
Really? Yeah, I was gonna say that's insanity. That's insanity.
So as I started to do these things, and I go through the Rotten Tomatoes critic scores and stuff, I genuinely think they're being inflated.
Oh yeah. That's why you always see like the critic score. Yeah, you always see the critic score is way different than the audience score.
But no, I think that's like audience, like people will get on there and go vote like 100% for a movie that's getting shit on because they want to like push it. Yeah, because like The Little Mermaid, that happened. And I was like, no, everyone says this movie sucks.
Wait, but that was the tomato meter or the Yeah. So the tomato meter, they just put whatever. That's why you got to pay attention to the audience score. But even still, a 57. And that was, back in the day. Actually, I don't know how up to date they keep them, but like, because I don't know if people are still voting on a movie from then. But the older movies, you would definitely see a lot closer score between the critics and the audience. And now it's like little like let's look. God damn. Rotten Tomatoes.
Good boy.
Little. That's not where my fingers go. That's what she said. The tomato was 67, but the audience is 94, and so you always see a flip.
Yeah.
And so the movie, I'm actually surprised that they rated it this low. I would have expected this to be inverted, but yeah, I guess there's There's fuckery on both sides. Fuckery upwards.
Now, this is the synopsis from Rotten Tomatoes. When the dolphin mascot of Miami's NFL team is abducted, Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey, a zany private investigator who specializes in finding missing animals, looks into the case. Soon, Miami Dolphins players are kidnapped too, including star player Dan Marino, starring Dan Marino, making Ace's sleuth work even more pressing. Working with Dolphins representative Melissa Robinson, Courtney Cox, Ace closes in on the culprits, but not before many ridiculous misadventures. Amongst the many ridiculous misadventures are a couple of characters not mentioned in the synopsis, which are Lieutenant Lois Einhorn and former Dolphins player
Einhorn?
Ray Finkel. Lois is this highly sexually charged lieutenant of the Miami Police Department who could have had a number of sexual harassment and assault charges against her, but
maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe you are more than just a pet dick.
Alas.
Guys, I did drop the link to this video if you want to check it out without our commentary. Again, please go give Meg a follow. And Nick is saying, you rock. Thanks for making this stream more fun than it would have been. I hope you will do this again. Yes, we definitely will do. I love any opportunity to talk about pop culture and all that stuff. And so, yes, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Because as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. But we're typically talking about like transes and Israel and shit like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you are more than just a pet dick.
Alas, it's a movie. And it is part of the whole underlying joke. I'm not going to give the entire plot of the movie, but warning, spoiler alerts. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend watching it and then just come back here. If you're still here.
And you definitely, if you have not seen it, heed her spoiler alert.
Yeah, because I'm about to give away the ending.
Yeah, and it's a good ending.
As we know in the movie, Ace finds an amber stone in Snowflake's tank, which he then theorizes to be from a 1984 AFC Championship ring, which leads him to believe a player from the 1984 Dolphins team is the culprit. This leads him down a rabbit hole of going down the entire team roster. Then, while investigating and proving the murder of Dolphins' head of operations,
only this.
It leads him to Ray Finkel. Ray is a disgraced former Dolphins place kicker who missed the potentially game-winning kick because
laces out, Dan.
Laces
out.
In the 1984 Super Bowl, he blamed quarterback Dan Marino for it. Then had this insane homicidal vendetta against him, which put him in this mental institution where Ace goes undercover as a mental patient.
I wish I knew more about football when I saw this. Like my family wasn't really a football family. And so like I knew, like I was aware of football and stuff, but I definitely would have been much more enjoyable. I don't care what anyone says. The mental institution scene is the best part of the movie. I would rewatch the reverse scene over and over as a kid, laughing harder every time. Yeah, I mean, it's such a it has so many just like classic beats, and it was in a time when you could make these kinds of jokes, and they were and they were in the consciousness, but it wasn't too far. 90s were the sweet spot. What year is this? 92?
94.
94.
Yeah.
Good times.
Because he believes Ray is out for revenge. This is where he discovers that Lois Einhorn is in fact Ray Finkel. The reveal scene comes when Ace tears off his clothes. Yes, his clothes, because the character is meant to be a man disguised as a woman that infiltrated the police department for revenge, not a transgender.
She's not Lois Einhorn. She's Ray Finkel. She's a man.
And the audience
meets a man.
Mr. Winky.
He found Captain Winky.
Confirming the pet detective's theory that the disgraced kicker, Finkel, is in fact the insatiable Einhorn. And that's the joke. The idea that this beautiful woman has been packing tackle the whole time is bizarre and it's gross. The reason it worked back then is because that was obvious. Whereas now we're told not only is it totally normal, it's brave and beautiful. And by the way, if you're not interested in making out with a Finkel as Einhorn, you're a transphobe.
And once you're talking about the second Ace Ventura or the second Dumb and Dumber?
I hope you're talking about the Ace Ventura.
I agree.
Yeah, When Nature Calls.
Yeah, because that's great. Like that.
Oh my god, that's
yeah, as much as I enjoy the rest of the movies in the Dumb and Dumber franchise, Dumb and Dumber is in its own category. It was ruined by the others. And they're still they're all right. They're okay, but they're not Dumb and Dumber.
At the beginning of When Nature Calls, when he's climbing up that mountain and it's going, oh, righty then. Like my brother was laughing so hard he threw up.
Yeah, this was when me and my brother actually still hung out and did things together, and he would okay, word, Bear, you're not banned. Not banned
from the chat.
Nope. That was the time, and just so much. I miss the 90s. I miss the 90s.
The 90s were so good.
What happened? Happened? Everything happened.
Instead of amused, sympathy for all the men that he kissed and got around with. All the men that are around are gagging and throwing up and scratching their tongues. And today's audience would be asked to condemn Einhorn/Finkel's hapless
transphobe.
This movie would get canceled so fast if it were made today. It wouldn't even make it past the pitch meeting before someone claimed transphobia. I mean, it must be so exhausting trying not to laugh or be entertained by something.
Yes. It is that is the part that strikes me as maybe not the oddest, but it just cuts. There's no way that any way you slice it, this is not worth your time. I promise you. No matter who you are,
so many other bigger things to be concerned with.
Yes, and to them, you are one pathetic loser. Yeah, I just don't because, and y'all know me. I be getting mad about shit. I be getting passionate about shit.
Yeah,
but then we're in the after party. We're like, hey, what's good? And gotta leave work at work, right? Leave work at work. And politics, whether you are a YouTuber or anything else, politics is while it definitely is something that affects what's in your home should be a sanctity from the craziness out in the world. No matter how bad the world gets out there, if they're not coming down, knocking your house down, you can have whatever literal communist utopia in your home that you want.
Yeah, and these people cannot tell me that you laughed at this movie.
Of course,
you laughed at this movie. You laughed at it then, and you're laughing at it now. And you can sit there. I had someone in my comments on this video try to tell me that they were so offended after watching it recently, and I'm like, but why?
Right.
It's a movie. It's fictional. And they're like, well, the idea that you're saying that this person or Finkel and Einhorn wasn't a trans is just ridiculous. And I'm like, it's not a real person. And that is the joke, is that it was a man who was so full of hate and revenge for Dan Marino, decided that he was going to dress as a woman and infiltrate the police department just so that he could have his chance at his vendetta against Dan Marino.
And that's a great story. Yeah. Clearly, it's a great story. But people just want to ruin things because again, there's no social value in laughing at something. There's only social value in being mad at something.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. Oof.
How dare you?
They wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it. No. These especially again, I'm not a gamer, but I definitely spent some time in the gaming lobbies and just the internet when it was the Wild West. And you would encounter some shit. And I mean, I'm not even talking adult stuff. That would too. But people who were just saying vile shit about this group of people or you specifically or whatever. And we all just knew. We're like, oh, okay, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Nobody stops. And for the crazy guy on the corner yelling the end is nigh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference?
No, and that's my point with like all my content. Like the Idiocracy video that we watch, you can probably tell the difference. That was the first one I put out. This one was the most recent, so it's moving a little bit quicker.
Oh, really?
But the whole point of this is like, why can some of us still continue to watch this stuff and be so entertained by it? Because we do not take entertainment literally in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant for you to sit back, relax, take yourself out of the real world and transport yourself somewhere where you can be mindless and just be entertained by what's in front of you.
Right.
And if it doesn't entertain you, turn it off. Don't go complain about it. Don't try to cancel it. Just say, this wasn't for me. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up a good point about escapism, and I as somebody who loves really heady stuff and things that are like complex, and you have to put the pieces together and whatever. I don't like the movies where it's just like a scene after a scene after a scene after a scene, and then the big ending where now you know what happened in the whole movie, and you have to rewatch it because you didn't understand. Not those movies, but when they actually do tell a story, I like a complex story. I like a psychological thriller kind of thing, but there still has to be that level of escapism. And I think again, the Discord members will remember that it's a common thing that whenever I'm watching a new thing, I will complain about exactly what I just said. That like I should have questions about what this character is going to do. Why don't I care about these characters yet? And again, I'm snooty when it comes to my movies and TV.
Yeah.
And, but at the end of the day, the reason for it is escapism.
Yes.
No matter what you're watching. And so somebody's going to say, whether even anime, if anime or comic book stuff or cartoons or whatever, if you're trying to say that it can't be good for anybody, unless it's actually containing some content that is negative, then maybe you just don't like it.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Not everything is for everyone.
And you'll like the point I'm about to make in this.
All right. Yeah, I completely agree with you on tech. Things that are funny, and here's the other thing. Once whatever happens to kind of shift the paradigm that is happening, where wokeness isn't like the on the docket, so to speak, everybody's gonna love the classic movies from the 90s and 80s that had all this stuff again. Like,
yeah,
this is a trend, just like all the other trends have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
because you're constantly waiting for something to offend you. The cancel mob is limiting creativity in the entertainment sphere, especially in comedy, because the expectation that everyone should just cater to each other's personal needs is ridiculous. That's not how this works, and that's not how life works.
Not how it should work.
I was listening to Lauren Chen's podcast where Mr. H Reviews was the guest, and he said, when did we become such a weak society that someone says a naughty word and someone says, ooh, you offended me? Grow up. People are so entitled that they feel like they have a right to walk through life and not be offended by anything. But sorry, you're choosing to take offense to things. You chose that. I can't choose to offense. I can't demand you're going to take offense. I thought that was a great take. Ray Finkel was...
I said shit. I agree.
An undercover vigilante man disguised as a woman who stole the identity, not gender identity, actual identity of deceased.
I hate that has to be differentiated.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Lois Einhorn to get revenge on Dan Marino, which is the whole joke of the movie.
Your gun is digging into my hip.
I love the attitude that you have of like, motherfuckers, why don't you get it?
Yeah.
I love that, because I think if I were to try to tackle this and try to like intellectualize it and be like, well, this is happening, and so we should, it wouldn't be, I don't know, but I like the angle that you're taking.
Thank you.
The whole joke of the movie.
Your gun is digging into my hip.
Ace Ventura is a comedy, a fiction story meant to make people laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, or other movies from the past for that matter, then turn it off. I can definitely see someone in today's modern society scolding someone for laughing at a movie like this. But comedy is subjective, just like music. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean I don't have to like it.
Okay, but if you don't like our Expandits, we can't be friends.
Exercise! the demons. I will continue to laugh and be entertained by this movie because it's funny.
Based.
What are your thoughts? What other movies could you see getting immediately canceled today?
Obviously, the first answer is Tropic Thunder.
That is like, that's on my list.
Yeah, that's the go-to. Well, here's a movie that couldn't be made today.
That one is Shallow Hal.
Oh yeah, I was just. It's so funny because I was editing just before this, and I wanted to I was clipping up the Culture War episode where we were talking about schools, and Tim was talking about Malcolm in the Middle, and so like the site that I use, here I'll just pull it up. The site that I use, you just search for you just search for clips, and like I was trying to find something specifically from Malcolm in the Middle, but it's by like actual like the words, and so I typed in Hal, and it came. I mean, I had to scroll through, but it came up, and I was like, "Ha, got it." But yeah, Malcolm in the Middle, good times. And yeah, again, just making the same kind of point that media is important. Pop culture is important. We need this stuff.
It's so important.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's very important. I mean, my whole thing is like, this is the pop culture that shaped us.
Mm-hmm.
Us as millennials. Like, this is what shaped us and what we grew up on. This is the comedy. This is the entertainment that we know and love. You know, Christmas Vacation, definitely a favorite. That's one that would probably get canceled today because of some sexist jokes in the movie. Or
yeah, all the national. I mean, even the Van Wilder.
Oh my God. I literally was thinking about just the other day. I was like, I need to put that on my list.
Yeah,
that one is. Whoa.
Yeah, Glomtex says the cultural references from just 2020 are already so dated and an obvious product of the time. 2015 to 2021 will be seen as the era of embarrassment.
I
agree. I agree. I don't know if this is racist because I didn't see that one, but if it is, it is. Hey, shout out to Garrett Grant. Gifted himself a membership. I don't know you can do that.
Nice.
But shout out. Marty, come on, get it. There you go. Thank you, sir. I very, very, very much appreciate that. And of course, if you have not already, send me a DM in Discord to make sure you get your full permissions for the after party. Thank you, sir. Very, very, very much appreciate. I appreciate all you guys. You know that.
Continue to laugh and be entertained by this movie because it's funny. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, and did anybody have Seabass said American Graffiti? Anybody else have a movie that they think would not be able to be made today?
Yeah,
I was thinking
there's a lot.
I was thinking something like I wonder, have you ever heard of the Boys and Girls Guide to Getting Laid, I think.
Oh no, I don't know this one. Didn't pull my list.
Come on, Girls Guide to, I think it was Getting Laid.
Oh, The Hot Chick.
Oh, what is that?
The Hot Chick.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's the one with the dude who. Yeah. Team America. America.
I don't know if I have the balls to tackle that one because that one is like.
We might have to do a retrospective. We might have to tackle that. See, I'm gonna employ you. Yeah, I'll bring you over here so you don't got to worry about your channel, and we will cover it. Yeah, masterpiece. Oh my goodness, Garrett, the man, the myth, the legend. Not one, not two, not three, not even five, but 6 total gifted memberships, brother. Thank you so very, 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 very much. I really, really do appreciate you. Bring it back to Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, that one scene of like, what, she's 17. Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just gonna say, if you've ever worked in a restaurant and you've never hit on a girl who was, I'm not saying underage, but just maybe you shouldn't have been hitting on her, you're lying. You're lying.
Yeah.
You're just lying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Blazing Saddles, the in the genre Sleepaway Camp. Never saw that one. South Park movie. Yep. All the thank you. Thank you for smoking. I don't know about that one. I think that's pretty run of the mill.
I have a really long list, but like there's some that would be like a shorter form video, like the one we just watched. Like this is a little bit more of a girly topic. The Devil Wears Prada. They talk a lot about eating disorders in that movie and like being really skinny, and that's just like not a thing today. You cannot.
I think my sister had that on DVD, so I've seen that a number of times, like kind of in my it's like in my consciousness somewhere. I don't know if I ever saw it. I never saw Young Frankenstein. See, guys, this is what I'm saying. We got to start doing movie nights again. We have our watch party channel, but we never use it. I'm gonna make sure we start doing some stuff. I'm gonna put it together. I just need you guys to show up. So, Meg, I want to thank you so much. I feel bad taking up all of your time, but I very much appreciate you, and the pup are so cute. Oh, we love cute puppies. But yeah, again, I really do appreciate not only your insight on everything that we talked about, but again, the opportunity to talk about movies and TVs. It's so rare, and I know that everybody here, we all are into that stuff, but because everybody's on a different streaming service and this and that and that and that and that, it's like, well, maybe you saw this and maybe you didn't, but when we can bring the conversation, when we can zoom out and talk about how pop culture really affects all of our everyday lives, it really helps. So it's pronounced Frankenstein. Okay.
Frankenstein.
Fucking Nazi. Dio said, thank you, everybody. Thank you as well. Before we go,
Zio is a loyalist, so he's probably going to
gang. Yeah. Shout out to Zio. We love the OGs. We love the loyalists. Before we go, if anybody did not hear, who are you? Where can they find you? And what is it that you do?
Hi again. My name is Megan. It's MeganMoo32 everywhere. I'm on Twitter. What do we call it? Twix. Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, all MeganMoo32. I talk about pop culture and how it shaped us as millennials and how we just need to keep bringing that stuff back, keeping it the same. We laughed at it then. We should be able to continue laughing at it now and be entertained by it now. So boost of nostalgia.
Beautiful. And just drop the link again to her channel. Please, guys, definitely go check her out. Well, thank you again. I think this was Dylan saying he liked it. Everybody seems to be enjoying it.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I would love to do it again, and we'll tag team a movie.
Yeah, we got to get you more back into your own streaming, but you can be my sidekick. And hey, maybe we do Pop Culture Fridays.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll do some polls and we'll do some surveys and we'll get back to y'all. But either way, I very much appreciate your time here. And again, guys, please go give Meg a follow. Again, it's more of stuff like this, so you will definitely enjoy it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, guys. So that was really cool. Like hell yeah. Pop Culture Fridays. I love that. Thanks, Meg. Yes, Nick is saying thanks again. Have a wonderful night. Yeah, I really appreciate the way that we kind of vibe in terms of talking about stuff that's kind of out of what I would normally talk about, but in the context of the stuff that still matters. And as much as, you know, we can take a little detour and talk about, you know, oh, Love Is Blind, and when they did this, and then the heart of the conversation is Kelly Green, Jesus fucking Christ, man, the chat replay is on. Everybody in perpetuity will be able to see that, but that is okay. Just finish up before you come to the after party. And guys, if you are a member of the channel, right now, I am in the after party. The after party has already started. It is free to join Discord, even if you are not a channel member. So make sure you, I believe Nick just dropped the link. Thank you so very, very much. Join, even if you're not paying. That's totally cool. We got the free chat. We're in there having conversations all day. I just started a new thread where I'm going to be collecting videos and stuff. So the next time we do more of a chill a stream like we did the other day, I'll have more videos ready to go, all that good stuff. And of course, if you would like to help get rid of the ads in the streams, as well as help my cost for the Dissident Dialogues convention that I'm going to May 3rd and 4th to meet some peeps, bring them onto the channel, get our shit blowing up. If you would like to help that, you can always sign up as a member. You can support me on Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of that good stuff. And if you can't do that, that's totally cool as well. Like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff really, 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 really does a lot. So I want to thank you so very, very much. Again, guys, we got Guantech, Indie Film, and Kelly Green in the party already with me. You are not stuck behind your keyboard. You are on screen with me and everybody else. So especially if you got gifted a membership, send me a DM and let's do the damn thing. For the rest of you, thank you so much. Thank you again to Mega Moo 20. Hold on. Thank you again to Mega Moo 32. It rhymes. How did I mess that up? Thank you again for a great conversation, and she will definitely be back. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We are heading over to the after party. Once again, this is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.